Hello and welcome to The First City, Volume 2. That's right, we're back, baby, and it feels so very good. Pause for applause.
Woo!
Yeah.
We're like, why are we pausing? Why are we stopping?
Oh man, it's been way too long. It feels amazing to be back and jumping back into this world. I am Ian Frost, as ever, joined by Asteria as the homesick hunter, Hairomone.
It's sad boy hours. Always.
And the incomparable Eric Monroe Schwan as Bailey Baker, also known as Bang Bang.
Also known as BB.
BB, Bang Bang. What's good?
Yeah. I was trying to think of an alliterative cool name like the Grizzly Gunslinger or something, but it just left my brain immediately.
BB's not grizzly.
The bad Mamma Jamma.
There's only one place to go.
Yeah.
Alliteratively.
Yeah.
So, that being said, a couple of things to mention right out of the gate. First off, if you are returning to the show, if you're a returning viewer, you will notice that sadly we are still down one Natasha. So Silhouette, however, will not be leaving the show, nor will Natasha. Silhouette will be here, piloted by me as an NPC, still very much a member of the party, still very much a member of Team Pantheon, so that Silhouette is ready for when Natasha returns, which she will, have no fear. That being said, you are definitely going to see some surprise faces as we go along. So stay tuned for that, and I think that you will be pleasantly surprised. The other thing is, this is volume 2 of an ongoing series. Now, while we want you to be able to jump in at the start of any volume, we are going to be continuing the thread of a big plot line that carries over from volume 1 and will carry even further beyond this. So if you want to have all the details and fully understand everything that's going on, I highly recommend that you go back and you watch volume 1 and then rejoin us here when you're ready. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Get out of here, you crazy fool.
Come back.
Also, it's been literal, actual, real-time months since we've played this game.
Oh,
It's true.
And since this is a system of our own design that we're building in real time, if we forget stuff from volume 1 that we decided and then we just forgot it, it's because time went by. A lot of time.
Yeah. Of course, as always, we're still going to be going through the mechanics as they come up. You'll probably see some new game mechanics in this season that didn't get to be introduced in season 1 that we've thought of since as well. All kinds of fun stuff like that. So you can sort of learn this system with us as it develops into something that hopefully everybody will be able to use beyond the confines of our channel.
Woo!
Now, previously on The First City. Our ancestors built the first city as a beacon of peace on Earth, and it almost was. Until one night, an unseen force plucked it from the very face of the Earth and placed it under unfamiliar stars. It was a bountiful world with no sign of civilization. A world we named Paragon. With no way to return home, we adapted. New governments were built from the seeds of our past, and with them grew new ways of life. But the vices of old still festered. Organized crime bled out from the shadows and took root, preying on the foundation of our new home. But this world had one more surprise in store. A mysterious element in the atmosphere that gave a fraction of the population superhuman abilities. Under the leadership of the city's first hero, the Age of Legends had begun. 300 years later, Paragon thrives under the protection of its champions. And yet, the shadows of the past still linger. When darkness rises, it will fall to the next generation of young heroes to defend the First City.
we fade in on a wide exterior shot of Moonlight Academy. We see its towering silver spires with platforms and railways stretching through. We see the shining monochromatic railway system that is traveling through ports built into the buildings. Every so often, we see the flying outline of a figure, a hero, flying from point A to point B within the city. And as we push in on this peaceful, sort of mid-morning, veering on afternoon, we hear something. A boom. And again. Steam and smoke are billowing out of a section somewhere to the west of the campus, an area that we know very well as the training city, an area where our heroes-to-be are sent to do exercises in a simulated city environment. And as we push in closer, past the towering administrative building at the heart of campus, through the external walls that separate the Hero campus from the rest of the school proper, deeper in, turning through corners, all the way in to the Hero campus, we see a sort of city street with windowed shops and marketplaces that are currently abandoned, as no one actually lives here. And as we hear that in the distance, we hear this of something thrown, as we suddenly see the figure of BB, dressed in her full usual outfit, as she is tossed, thrown, tumbling through the air out of an alleyway around a corner that we can't see, as BB's body goes flying toward a wall on the side of one of these buildings. Eric, I'm going to ask you to make a dexterity, an agility saving throw to try and catch yourself from this throw.
Shit.
Okay. Hold up.
First roll of volume 2.
Oh! Woo-wee! Okay. Sorry, 2 6s and a 4. That brings me to a 5, maybe?
A 5 out of what?
I think a 5 out of 3, yeah.
5 out of 3. This is an exceptional success. So, BB, how do you catch yourself after being thrown in such a way that is extra and cool?
She tilts herself in the air, like repositions the center of her gravity, kind of is
like a cat?
Like a cat, and is for a second going parallel to the ground until she puts her fingers down and then just sets herself up and like looks down at her clothes and goes, "My usual outfit," and then runs back into the fray and back at the opponent. Who is the opponent that BB's tussling with?
Funny you should ask. As you brush yourself off, pick yourself up for combat, raising your fingers high to the sky, ready to fire, you square yourself toward the area you had been thrown from, and turning that corner, making these massive, lumbering, metallic footsteps, you see the armored figure of a training robot. Armored black and silver with rivulets of green light all through it, but this one is a little bit different than training bots that you have encountered before, or at least within the confines of this story. This training bot is huge. It's about 10 feet tall and hulking and wide, with big, meaty fists, armored shoulders, almost like it's wearing full plate armor, with a single wide green lens, kind of cyclops eye.
Kind of just a big boy.
Yeah.
Not just a large guy.
It's a big guy. And as it's running towards you, more like lumbering towards you. It's not particularly fast, but it's a little faster than you would expect from something of this size. It rushes forward, and suddenly we hear this just brief little shimmering sound as Silhouette appears on the other side of you. She looks over to you, and her long black hair sort of swishes to one side. As she appears, she actually appears sort of halfway. She materializes just like down to the waist and then stops like a sort of ghost. And she looks at you, BB, and she goes, "Oh man, are you okay?"
I've seen better days, but at least more than half of me is here.
Oh, that's good. Hold that thought, robot. And she goes invisible again. And you don't hear her footsteps as she moves around to a strategic position. As this robot is moving faster and faster towards you, it kind of crunches its fist into its hand. Hairomone, where are you at? And how do you continue in this fray?
Oh, geez. There's just one enemy on the field right now. And we are in the city part. Is there a decorative, like city planning, city tree on the sidewalk or something?
Yeah,
nearby?
there's trees. Sure.
Then the camera, or like the next panel, we see the silhouette of a figure crouched on a tree branch. The panel after that zooms into these like piercing bright golden eyes, and then once more double-ended spear out, you see Hairomone just jumping and going for it with this lad.
Hell yeah.
You see a person 24 with long waterfall of black curly hair, dressed in, I don't think Haremone's actually in their usual outfit right now, so I think they're just in like a slate blue sports bra with pants, matching pants.
Sick.
Just careening towards this lad like a javelin out with the spear, like going for the kill.
Go ahead and make an attack.
Oh god. Oh jeez.
Kill this thing. Kill this guy.
I forget. Is using a weapon, is it dexterity?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be dexterity or strength for a melee weapon, but generally dexterity is pretty good.
Oh shit. That's a 5 out of 3. 2 6s and a 5.
Ooh. We're rolling hot today.
3. All right. So, Hairomone, what is your intention to do to this thing? Because whatever it is, you succeed and then some.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this. Do we know the objective of this mission?
Oh, yeah. You have to take this thing down as quickly as you can.
Then I'm just going for its main power core, wherever that is, whether that's the head or the chest or the stomach, like wherever that is. I'm just like, Choo! And I think I just bring it down to the ground. 3-point land on its back. Yeah.
So as you do this, you leap from this tree, swing around its neck, and then almost like curl yourself down and just jab directly into the heart of this thing through one of the cracks where those green rivulets are, and you see the sparks crackling and sparking against that blue steel, that metal, that's yet unknown metal to everyone else.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Right? Yet unknown to the party.
Oh, you meant my thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your spear
Oh.
with this gray blue shimmer to it as the sparks crackle up it and then dissipate across it. You peel up through that armor and then carve down, and you see the sparks fly out. And as it sort of starts to rock forward, there's a moment where you almost wonder if it's going to fall on you.
Oh, wait.
But
Can BB take that moment to use a concussive blast to push it backwards when she sees that it's falling forward?
Sure.
Tight. And I'm gonna immediately retcon something I just did and say that she used the concussive blast to help her get up from like this horizontal position when she's flying backwards.
That's cool.
So she bounces herself up, jumps back into the fray, sees Hairomone go for the kill, and then I would roll a power die plus my attack?
Yes.
Okay. Power die is a d12, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. So I succeed on the power die with an 11, but I only got 1 success out of 4 for my powers. But I do have the sharpshooter ability, which I think means I get to reroll at least one of those. Is that correct? Okay, tight.
There's gonna be a lot of like, right?
Right?
That's how it is, right?
Yeah. So that's gonna be 2 out of 4 successes, and then 1 power die success.
Okay. So 3.
It's rolling with
3 out of 5 technically,
Okay.
if we include the power die.
Ordinarily, that's an opposed roll, but the funny thing is, it's already dead, so it can't really defend much against this. I rolled just to see effect a little bit. And you shoot your concussive blast at it. And as you do this, you realize Hairomone already was kicking off of it, pushing back, maybe even against the tree. As it begins to fall sort of closer toward the tree, you maybe back up and push, kick with your feet out with the strength that you have. And you push this thing forward, but BB has taken the shot already. And the concussive blast actually rings out. And as this thing is already falling forward, the blast just like detonates across this thing and then pushes it back. It doesn't do any piercing damage, as is the nature of the concussive blast, but these big sort of basketball shaped waves of compressed energy push against the center of this thing, the momentum of it already falling back, and it flies. And Hairomone, it's kicked out from under you. You can either go with it or like let go.
No.
Oh shit. I was imagining that it just smashes me against the tree, but
you're not going to take damage either way because both of you rolled really good.
I didn't realize they were still attached to it, like fully. Dang.
You don't have to be. This is a point where we're out of dice roll. However you want to handle this and get out of the way, you can.
Yeah, I think I let go mainly because I'm forced to. I don't think I can physically hold on with the concussive blast. So the boy and my spear goes flying away, but I still get like knocked up against the tree. Like I might hit my head because it does hit me. I just don't go with, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you knock up against the tree, but you catch yourself with all of your training, of course. You are totally fine. You just sort of fall back.
Hey, are you okay? I didn't mean to. I didn't realize you were still kind of attached to that. I thought it would just kind of fly away. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm sorry. That's my bad.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. And I think Hairomone just sort of gets up and retrieves their spear, their stick.
As you do that, you see Silhouette fully materialized now. Her trademark sort of tan cargo pants, with her black long sleeve shirt. She pulls something out of one of her pockets, this sort of box-like device. She pulls a little antenna out of it and she begins scanning like, boop, 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 over top of the thing. And she goes, well, it's not getting up. But she looks like she's anticipating something. And she looks over your guys' shoulders and you see the outline of your teacher, Pantheon, who had been watching, float down from her position high above, with her blue and white bodysuit, what you understand to be a wig that she actually wears when she's in her costume of this dark, like sort of purple blue hair.
So silly.
She got all these powers, but she can't even change her hair.
And as she floats down to ground level and walks up to you, so you see that she's holding a stopwatch and she's clicked it and she goes, 2:26. That's about 2 seconds slower than last time.
Now, is that counting when I hit it, which definitely took it out, or when BB just hit it and it flew away? Because if it was the former, then it was actually sooner.
Yeah, I mean, you make a fair point. I would have preferred that didn't happen, but these things happen. We learn from it. We fight the big robot again.
Wait, so what I did was wrong? Like, I shouldn't have... I thought I was just clearing the field, as it were.
Well, the instinct to help was good, but you might have noticed that Hairomone did have the situation largely under control. The momentum was shifting. Hairomone was about to push the thing back and was still attached to it with, spear. So just a second more. That being said, I am very happy that your instinct is to immediately help in a more dire situation that reaction time would have been crucial. However, there were telltale signs that Hairomone was no longer in danger. You might have noticed that the rivulets of green energy, for example, were already flickered out, indicating that the power was down. Even if it had fallen forward, trusting Hairomone to get out of that situation might have been the better way to go. Silhouette was also waiting in the wings, but, can't really expect you to know where she's at unless she cued in her movements a little bit better to her teammates. And she goes, yeah, totally. I could do that. Yeah, should have. Yeah. And she writes some stuff down in her little notebook. Pantheon goes, hey, that was good, honestly. As mistakes go, not big ones. You're getting there. It's been an interesting time, but the progress I'm seeing is, trust me, it's enough to be proud of.
Hairomone just lets out a little yes, man, underneath their breath when Pantheon says that.
And thinking back, the experience of training with Pantheon has been a little different. It has been 5 days since the midterm assembly, where all the students were gathered with Fortress, of course, after the events of dealing with Silencer, with everyone just sort of quietly understanding, everyone at the school sort of knowing that you had a part in it and agreeing not to really ever talk about it. After all of this insane sort of conflux of events, things have died down somewhat. And since 2 of those days were weekend, the 3 days that you have had of training, fighting robots, exercising, running laps, some light detective work, all of these things have sort of felt like dipping your toes back into the water. And the teacher that you have now is somewhat different than the carefree, shall we say, informal person that you had first met. And dare I say, it's almost felt more like what you expected it to feel like from the start. And yet, Pantheon still looks somewhat distant, something behind her eyes that sort of trails her attention away beyond. Something you can't put your finger on. She has stepped out of her shadow, but there's a distance that you can't quite figure out. And as there's this moment of silence where she's just sort of faintly smiling at you all, she shakes her head a little bit, almost like she's sort of waking from a reverie. She scratches her chin and she goes, all right, look, that's enough for today. You guys have been doing really good. You remember what Pantheon said? We're supposed to be working with other teams now.
Fortress.
You remember what Fortress said? We're supposed to be working with other teams now. And, I wanted to give you guys a few days to sort of catch up, of course, because obviously you missed out. You had a different experience than other people did, and it's not fair. But your progress has been pretty great, and I think you're ready. So let's give it a shot. Meet me at the administrative tower tomorrow at 10 a.m. You guys are off early today. Take the rest of the day, recover how you want to. Tomorrow we try something a little different.
Can we know who we're going to be working with?
You can, if you don't want to be surprised. I'm genuinely, I will tell you if you don't want to be surprised.
What do you guys think?
I mean, we have to do it either way, so I don't.
That's true.
I'm chilling.
All right. Well, I will follow my teammate's lead then.
She just sort of looks around at the three of you, and Silhouette goes, honestly, I'm used to the surprises at this point. It's not. And Pantheon goes, trust me, I think you'll enjoy it. It's not going to be like last time. Mostly. And she looks around at you guys and then doesn't speed away. She walks away at a regular person pace, away from the training city, back into the campus proper.
Well, what do you guys want to do? Got the rest of the day.
Hairomone sort of like claps BB on the back of a shoulder and says, "You did do good." I know that seemed very in-depth notes from Pantheon, but you know, she's right. You did do good.
I just wish I could get it right. You know how it is. Okay, could I talk to Sil? I wanted to talk to you real quick, but Hairomone, you could also come if you'd like. I'm going to apologize for something, but I mean, we're all a team. We're all around each other all the time. There shouldn't be any secrets.
Wow. Okay. Sure. I mean, I'm good either way. So whatever you're feeling comfortable with at this moment in time.
I just wanted to apologize because I've been using your real name a lot of the past week, and I don't know. I was confused and overwhelmed by all the new information and experiences that were happening, and I didn't take into account that even at a school full of superheroes, you probably shouldn't be spreading your name around like that, your real name. So I wanted to apologize for that and say from now on I will be much more careful with your name, as it were. And I mean, in terms of like superhero etiquette and form, I think you're probably well ahead of me, so you deserve to be called by your superhero name.
I mean, thank you. First of all, thank you. That's really sweet, BB. I appreciate it. I do. But the funny thing is, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm ahead of anybody right now. If anything, all three of us are like a little bit behind, except you guys never feel like you're behind. I mean, you've got your training, and Hairomone, you've got a whole other life, and you've got all these skills. I mean, I came here to learn how to be a hero, and you guys in a way are like already, you know, there. And I'm pretty good at being not there.
What I'm realizing more and more is that being a superhero, 70% of the time, let's say, does not just come down to physical acumen or ability, and everything that exists outside of that ends up being a lot more important. So I guess we are all getting there, but in the idea of a superhero, I think that you are much closer than the rest of us. And BB slips out of her accent there, and just kind of nods. But as an aside to the audience, this is both me cementing this within canon while also asking you to retcon it, because I forgot that secret identities were a core facet of superhero fiction.
I also have forgotten if I was doing the exact same thing. So if I
don't think you were
first naming, then I'm sorry. But if I wasn't, I'm not.
But from this point, we're good. And
Yeah,
no one's going to
fine.
use their first names.
Yeah.
It's chilling. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
good.
we've sort of established that you can use mine, but
Fair.
like for you two, yes.
When we're Not in when we're not in mixed company.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all friends, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we are friends, but I mean, like, I'm talking about like our class, at large. Like, I'd like to think that we can, that we can trust and when we eventually, like get out there, right? Like, we're all gonna know each other.
Trust,
so,
sure. Be friends with some of them. Nah.
I'm just saying, don't worry about it too much. I think
Listen, pretty much everyone in our class knows my first name. Some people know my last name. So, like, it's whatever for me personally. But,
I mean, honestly, sometimes it's nice to hear somebody say my name. And there's this moment of like, sort of like, Silhouette kind of goes somewhere for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then that silence is broken by all of your phones buzzing.
Oh, I checked my phone.
As you check it, you see that you all have a group text with Monarch. And the text from Monarch says, "You come in." And all at once you all recall, if you had forgotten, that you do have a lunch appointment in the cafeteria lounge with Team Prestige.
Yeah.
God, I forgot.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's getting to be about that time.
I'm going to look in my bag. Well, first of all, I'm going to part my very thick, very long hair to where I got bonked and be like, am I bleeding?
Are they bleeding?
No. You are completely uninjured.
All right.
You're not bleeding.
Cool. I'm still going to pop a future aspirin though. Be like, I did get, I'm not hurting right now, but sometimes these things can sneak up on you later. So I'm just going to pop a future aspirin.
Maybe you just shouldn't go to sleep for a while. That might be a good.
I do like a self concussion check. Nah, I'm fine. I walk in a straight line and do all the fun concussion test things. I am going to put clothes on though, and you can see where the like skin is showing because they're only wearing a sports bra right now. They have the scar on their right side, and then they have like the pock mark and the this and the that, and you can kind of see the big ass bite mark, and you can ever so slightly see poking out their newest scar near their belly button. Because now that we're not doing stuff anymore, I'm cold. I'm cold. And also, if I put on different pants, I can have a hot pack on my stomach and no one will know. So Hairomone just sort of like says that, winks, and then runs away back to our shared house.
BB turns to Silhouette and goes, "Should we follow her or should we just..." And Silhouette might notice that BB isn't slipping back into her accent.
I don't know. I think they're just gonna get changed. But we could.
We can meet up with them. Yeah.
Everyone's sweaty in the hero cafeteria.
We'll meet up with them at the hero cafeteria.
Ew. That's gross.
Yeah.
So you guys want to just like do over to the cafeteria?
Yeah.
All right. So some indeterminate small amount of time goes by. You find yourselves somewhere approaching noon, heading over to the cafeteria on the hero campus. This might be a little bit of a retcon, but I'm just going to consider it new lore that we haven't touched yet. There is a shared sort of communal cafeteria that's on the regular side. And there's also like specifically within the hero, right? Because we haven't really touched on it yet, but there is security, right? Like these are people training to be heroes who are walking around freely in a space. So there is something of a wall around the Hero campus, and there are entryways that have like passive scanners that sort of recognize you as you walk under it. But then there's also sort of a two-factor where you have like some sort of a like a code on your phone or device, or even if you have a card or something, if you choose to have it that way, that you can swipe or show or scan when you come in. That's monitoring who's coming in, and right. So it monitors who's coming in and out of the Hero side. So there is an actual like Hero specific Hero campus like cafeteria area. And I think that's actually where you met with Poltergeist that one time, nice. With the sort of lounge arcade area underneath. So you head over there and you walk in to this massive like mall food court type area with all the different kiosks and restaurants sort of all around. They're actually like entire little cafes inside, and it's bustling because it's peak, like it's a Wednesday. It's like almost exactly noon. Everybody's breaking for lunch. You see a lot of people still in their workout clothes, a lot of faces that you recognize, other people that you have met or not really interacted with that much, but that you just know from this class of heroes who are all here intermingling, enjoying their time that they have together. And as you guys sort of scan around the area, looking for your friends, looking for Team Prestige, you notice that in line for, let's just say it's a good old burger place, superhero college burger kiosk.
College.
Future burger.
You see that standing in that line is Matryoshka.
Queen.
Oh.
Beautiful and round, with long blonde hair spilling out from underneath a big black sun hat that sort of flops down, framing her very round face, big blue eyes.
We cannot stress enough how round she is.
Cannot stress it enough. With her red and black
Rotund.
Striped dress that she's wearing. She's standing in line and she looks back and she notices that you guys have entered and she waves at you guys.
BB nods and walks over to her. And as I walk over to her, you see BB's usual outfit, which I haven't described yet, which is generally just kind of like this faux leather jacket, button-up white shirt, boa tie. Bola tie?
Bola?
Bolo?
Bolo tie.
Yes.
Bolo tie. Blue jeans, a belt that has a belt buckle that says BB on it, and then boots. She kind of takes off the jacket as she walks over to Matryoshka.
As you walk over, Matryoshka goes, hello, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Maddie, how you doing?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm very hungry, you know. Prestige had us doing a lot of sort of combat drills today. And, you know, like, I mean, I like to get scrappy when I can, but it's sometimes, you know, I get tired and, yeah, and after a good workout, I need to eat so much, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm ready for it. Is lunchtime. You know what I mean?
I think I have a pretty solid understanding of what you mean. Can I cut in line with you?
Yes, of course. I mean, I was holding your place. You going to get mad about it? And she looks around at everybody else. And everybody's like, no.
Well, I can tell that you've really gotten a grip of fear established over this campus, huh?
Oh, yes, ruling with an iron fist.
And she's like 4'10", maybe, right?
She's like 5'0". She's kind of short, yeah.
Little.
Love her. So we wait in line for our burgers.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're in line and you're talking to her, she's sort of gesticulating wildly as she speaks. And there's a moment where you guys finally get up to, you know, get your food, and she gets her burger and her fries. And as she gets her food, she reaches back and she realizes, she's like, oh, hold on, I forgot, I wanted to leave a tip. And she turns around really quickly. And as she does, she bumps directly into someone. A large, familiar figure, 6 foot, with a black, tight-fitting V-neck shirt tucked into dark pants, long dark hair, cascading around his face. It is Helix. And he is carrying his own sort of tray of food. And as Matryoshka turns, she like knocks right into him, and he doesn't really move that much, but her plate of food like spills off, and you hear her like, oh shit. And as it falls, Helix immediately, like with these cat-like reflexes, he just reaches down and he grabs the plate and nothing falls. And he puts it back. It's kind of an impressive move. And as he does so, he puts it back on her plate, and he just sort of, and you hear Matryoshka says something. She reacts. She says something in Russian that sounds like some sort of exclamation of surprise at this feat of agility. And what you guys notice is that immediately, almost like without even thinking, as a reaction, Helix responds in Russian. And he stops, and his eyes get like, there's a flicker of something that you would have to like try to pay attention to if you wanted to, as in with like a roll. But there's something there.
I could try to pay attention to that.
Let's pay attention.
If you want to, yeah, go ahead and make a willpower. Maybe an intelligence if you're trying to figure out like what specifically that face means.
Oh, you know, I'm trying to insight my way to victory.
I only got a one success, which is apropos of BB's life.
I got 2.
Okay.
Yeah, not so good.
BB, you just clocked that there's a pause there. But Hairomone, you kind of think that it looks like something happened as a reaction. He was not even thinking when this came out of his mouth. And now that it's out and he's stopped,
he's like,
it looks
I
like
showed my butt
he
a little bit.
Didn't want to do that. Yeah. And as he stops, Matryoshka's eyes go wide and her mouth like Grinch smiles. It just like creeps across her face, and she is glowing. She is beaming, and she just starts just pouring out Russian excitedly at him. And he goes, I should probably go. And he turns around to just straight up leave the entire cafeteria. And you notice as he walks away, he leaves his tray of food.
Before he leaves, I say,
yeah,
you always seem to be kind of like bumping into people or in the way of others. I think if you made your presence known a little bit more, that would happen a little less. And he would probably also notice that she's not speaking in the accent to him.
Yeah, with that, you definitely see his ears prick up, and he turns sort of halfway back, as he is known to do. He doesn't open his mouth as if to speak. He just looks at you for a moment. That strange, neutral, cold look that he has when you know that his mind is working. And for a moment, you get a hint of the detective that you haven't seen yet, that you know he is. And you feel this wash of like pure analytics behind his eyes. And he just looks at you for what feels like a very long second.
She'll stare back and then eventually grab
blank.
But yeah, no, that's exactly what happens.
Like
she blinks, grabs Matryoshka's tray from her and carries both of them over to the prestige team's table.
I think Haromone's like, haha, tension, yay, have to break it. And they just say, I am making pheasant at your house. Are you going to be in or out? On Friday. Did I say that? On Friday.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Chill. All right. Catch you later.
He's already gone.
Great. Awesome.
And because you already rolled that, it's been everything he could do not to just get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm. Haromone's just like, my attempt to play it off seems to exacerbate the problem. shit. And Hairomone just sort of gets like a chicken Caesar salad and starts like stabbing it. Like, I'm so stupid.
Matryoshka walks with you guys over to the stairway leading down into the lower lounge area. And as you're walking, she goes, that was weird, right? I'm not reading that incorrectly. That was very not a normal interaction for you.
For who? For
all
me?
of you.
Certainly not for you.
I don't feel like any of our interactions with Helix end up being normal.
I've had pretty okay ones. They just, the thing about it is they tend to get really deep in a very specific way very fast. And it's not always intentional. So I don't really know how to I feel like none of us really know how to be normal. And that's the code we're trying to crack. You know what I mean?
As someone who is probably pretty shallow, I can say that maybe that's the key misconnect between me and Helix. She kind of furrows her brow.
Well, I personally don't know the man at all, but he speaks Russian. So I can only assume he's got something good to say.
Oh my God.
And she brings you over to a large booth. You see that there's a room leading over to this big arcade with VR games and some vintage, classic looking actual arcade setup games.
Nice.
Dick Dug.
And there are also there are tables as well for there's pool and some air hockey, but it's all cool and cyberpunk air hockey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
4-dimensional air hockey.
4-dimensional air hockey.
How would that work? I don't know,
Who
but
knows?
I love it and I want it.
Artists. So she leads you over to a table where you see the rest of Team Prestige. You see, of course, Teatro with his usual sort of black sleeveless cardigan thing with his chain necklace and his long curly dark brown hair sort of over his face. His hood is down at the moment. And you see Monarch, who is very tall and maybe just a little bit artificially tanned with her long brown hair that's currently straightened. Big smile as she sees you. And who could forget Mr. Menagerie himself?
Mr. Handsome.
You see that he right now is wearing maybe a pale blue sort of V-neck shirt. His Letterman jacket is folded up very neatly and placed beside him. And as you get up to the booth, they all scoot in a bit. Menagerie goes, come on in. I imagine Pantheon kept you a little over time.
Actually, not really. She let us off early. And you can now see that Hairomone is in their usual full regalia with the leather and the green and the tabard and the blue. It takes too long to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, with a little bulge right on their lower abdomen, in a, this size.
Where a heating pad would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are things going better for you guys?
She's acting like a proper teacher, mentor, all of the above.
I think we're doing fine, but it does keep being emphasized to us how much we have to catch up on. As if it was our choice.
And Monarch goes, oh man, what if it's any consolation? Everybody sort of assumes that you're all extremely special people with different skills and backgrounds that we don't have, so if that's all true and you're extra cool, then you're already ahead of us, right? It's square, we're all even.
BB laughs at that.
Are you saying that you don't have cool skills and cool backgrounds? Are you saying you're a boring person?
Well, I'm saying that I don't have a mysterious past that involves extra training that makes me all flippy dippy, but
I can't.
Not saying I don't have skills though.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
would you like to share with the class?
She like takes a big bite of a chicken drumstick and goes,
Work.
and Teatro looks around. He looks a little bit like antsy. And when Matryoshka sits down next to him, you see that she has like an extra cookie and she puts it on his tray and she goes, "Do you like chocolate chip?"
Cute.
And he looks down and he goes,
He's never seen a chocolate chip before in his life.
"Would you care to do what menagerie are you going to?"
What?
And Menagerie looks at him and like, I mean, I was gonna give
Are
them a
you
minute. We're
inviting us to another party again?
no, God, no. No,
God, no.
I didn't want to set the. I didn't want you to think that we were just like wanting to meet to like do something. You know, I wanted to see you guys, but I wasn't gonna like jump in. But Teatro is just like, and he goes, I guess it's too late now. It's nothing scary. I just you know, we've been talking all, you know, the four of us, and we've come to the conclusion that when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
The more you delay revealing what you're about to say, the more anxiety-inducing it becomes.
I'm going to cover all my bases right now. No, I will not join your polycule.
there's this, like, you see the straightest look you've ever seen on a man. And he goes,
I got you.
look, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm nervous about. You guys are friends. We trust you. And in the interest of that trust, I wanted to acknowledge that when we first met, we didn't. And Matryoshka goes, ahem. He goes, I didn't make the best impression. I was kind of an ass to you, and it wasn't fair. And I'm not saying this because of what you've done. That we don't need to talk about that. I know you don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that, honestly. But I have grown to care for the three of you. I mean, I hope I'm not wrong to think of you as our friends, as my friends. And I wanted to put forth a gesture of trust, something to set the stage for better times ahead. Actually, it was Teatro's idea. He goes,
I imagine all eyes flipped to Teatro.
yeah. He gestures back, like away, like back over to Menagerie, and he goes,
Don't perceive me.
Stop it.
God.
there is absolutely, I want to make this clear right out of the gate, no pressure to reciprocate this. But and he looks over to Teatro, and Teatro starts typing on the table, because you see that the end of the table is actually a screen, and he pulls something up and he begins to type on it, and you see that there are these very cleverly hidden, almost sensor-like little pieces of metal that you see positioned around on the walls around this booth. And as he does this, there's this faint shimmer in the air, and then it's gone. And you all recognize this as a feature that some of these places have. He has essentially just soundproofed this booth.
Cool. Oh.
And Menagerie goes, we wanted to introduce ourselves, really introduce ourselves, if you're comfortable with that.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, this is hella intimate. You mean like our real person names?
Ours, not yours. Again, there's no pressure to reciprocate, but
Well,
I wanted to show you that we do, in fact, trust you.
I mean, for me, it's more of a, yeah, it is sort of like, do you trust me? Because y'all already know my name. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's part of it, right?
I've gone to the wilderness with you multiple times. It's dangerous. I've trusted you for a while, Mr. Man.
Yeah, I mean, and at the risk of sounding like something or other, most people here already know my name anyway. And that doesn't really mean anything to me. That.
At this weird lull in the conversation, BB goes, I'm Bailey Baker.
Well, it's very nice to meet you, Bailey. I'm Scott Silverland. And
It's not gonna be. It's gonna be funny every time.
It's such a chatty name. It's so funny. I love it.
Matryoshka pipes up and she goes, my name is Anya Androthi. Oh, that felt really good.
Excuse me while I write these down.
I should write them down too.
Tree.
How do you spell it?
Anya. And then last name Androthi.
Scott Silverland is the name of a man who owns a real estate development company. That
Silverland
just
Realty.
that just keeps destroying nature and putting up suburbs.
Yeah.
And Anya turns to Monarch, who smiles really wide, and she goes, you have the distinct pleasure of meeting Annabelle Blake.
Oh,
But to my friends, to my girls, it's Annie.
To my girls.
my girls.
There's a moment. Silhouette almost certainly knows this, so she's not going to roll it. You could roll to know if that name means anything to you on instinct because of your background. It doesn't.
Okay.
But if you want to try, you can.
Would that be
Something.
intelligence?
Yes,
To
it's
recall
essentially
information?
history. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just intelligence to recall information. But BB, there is something familiar about the name Blake in a
I think that-
superhero context to you, so you can roll with one level of advantage.
Oh, tight. I think with my base, I already got a 3 out of 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a full success also.
Okay. So both of you, and you see it on Silhouette's face too, and she's like about to say something about it. You all remember the name Blake in a superhero context.
She a superhero, baby?
Not exactly. But
She's a super villain, baby.
Blake is a company run by a couple,
Oh.
and it is the premier designer and distributor of superhero costumes.
Oh.
And with your above success, BB, you know that they are the primary outfitter that Moonlight Academy contracts with. You can choose to have your outfit designed by someone else, but the default is to go through Blake.
So your family make the suits?
Oh, you know? I guess
Yeah,
it's not surprising.
I mean, I was always, when like I was training, I was always given like military issue stuff, but the Blake brand, all the best superheroes have that.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's nice of you to say it. Yeah, it's no big deal. No, it's my parents, right? They run the company. They founded it.
You're their child.
Right, yeah, no, that's me, yeah. Fun fact, don't have to go spreading it around or anything, but, I'm proud of it, yeah.
I am going to call you Daphne. I'm going to take a stab of my salad and pop it in my mouth.
I'm going to roll her 1 intelligence die.
Oh!
No, well, she does not. She does not know. She's like,
oh,
why would you do that?
My queen.
Oh my. I think Hairomone just starts to fake cry into her salad. Oh my God.
Silhouette is beaming about that. And she's like, that is so cool. I don't know if you understand how absolutely awesome that is. I mean, we're talking like Tonatress, everybody, sorry, continue. And you see there's been too much of a pause as they look over at Teatro. And Teatro goes, Leo. And
Leonardo DiCaprio?
There's more of a pause where a last name would be. And he goes, Leo is enough for now.
Respect.
Wasn't this your idea?
It was, but you don't. Just because it was my idea does not mean that I'm going to give everything at this moment. I am a very cautious person. That being said, I do trust you. But on what occasion are you going to use my full name anyway?
I could ask the same question of you, but we just all went around and did it anyway. But if you don't want to, it's totally fine. I respect. I'm learning to respect the choices that other people make. So good for you, Leo. And she holds out her hand to shake.
He does take it, and he goes, it is good to know you all. Ani goes, that was good. That was painless, right? And then now everybody feels better. We can breathe. We can eat our food and have a good time as friends together.
BB takes a big bite of a sloppy Joe.
Mm-hmm. Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Sloppy Joes are gross.
Sloppiest of Joes.
No.
Just a real nasty Joe.
Is it Leo like Leonardo, or is it
Leo?
Okay. I was thinking like LIO potentially, but yeah. Okay.
Good. So you guys begin to eat. Oh, sorry. You were going to bring something up.
No, I was just going to say, so who have you guys been training with when you do like team training?
Well, we've so far we've only had one mission, and we were with Combio actually, and it was very interesting. Yeah, that Poltergeist, he won't admit it, but he's a great leader.
Is he as great of a leader as Knock Knock is at being one of the most destructive and unstoppable forces that I've ever encountered?
I tell you, I can't say that I've made any headway into understanding Knock Knock, but
headway.
She knows something for sure, and it's honestly, it's a shame. I really wanted to see her power, but she didn't use it in our exercise, so I guess that makes sense. But
yeah, I know.
What about Canvas?
Canvas is a sweetheart. I absolutely love that man. I mean, I get the feeling like he's got to be brought out a little. He didn't seem to want to, but sometimes you got to reel him in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and are you planning on reeling that one in?
Oh, babe, I like to keep my options open.
That's fair. That's honestly, I understand.
the amount of absolutely delectable fish in this ocean.
Hey, maybe don't say it like that.
Fish.
She looks around like, she looks like, no, this is chicken. And the moment completely passes her. So you guys enjoy a pleasant meal together with friends.
Nice.
And after some time goes by, you're there for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. The soundproofing has been left on just because. But you start to see Silhouette, her eyes get big for a second, and she's looking past you guys. And you follow her vision over, and you see that students are beginning to gather, standing up from their seats or sitting on the edge of their seats. And you see that everyone is looking up at the TV screens that are up in here, up in the corners of the lounge.
Oh, geez.
Can we go take a look at them?
Yeah.
Or do we have the ability to see it from, if our table is also a computer, can we watch it from our table?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can actually. So do you bring that point up, or do you just try to do it yourself?
I try to do it myself.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You actually pull up from the...
It is full, just index finger clicking.
Yeah, so you can actually operate it that way, but there's also an interactive element to it where you can place your hands on it. It recognizes you as a student of the school, and you actually can pull a holographic image out from the screen and then pull it out into a screen sort of at the head of the table that everyone can watch.
She starts doing the finger, index finger typing, and then accidentally pulls it out and is like, oh, and then pushes it forward to the... So
we see a very short flashback to Hairomone being like, and all of this technology to Fortress, all of this technology is highly regulated, right? I'm not walking into a big police state, right? And Fortress is like, yes. And then we go back to the present.
What you see on this screen is a breaking news report. On the bottom of the screen, flashing across, is the headline: Father Fear escapes custody.
Oh. Ooh.
You see a news reporter kind of running and hiding, sort of ducking behind a corner in an alleyway. And you hear just like cackles and screams in the background. And this reporter begins to speak. And she says, bringing to you continued updates from the downtown financial district, where Father Fear, notorious villain of famed hero Diamond Soul, has escaped custody during a prisoner transfer. No word yet on how. And this massive, another explosion hits, and you see scraps of what look like pieces of a car scatter out around. She goes, and she like kind of turns, and the camera ducks around the corner, and you get this shaking image of a hulking figure. You see the tattered, ripped up shreds of an orange prison jumpsuit, and a like maybe 8 foot tall and growing monstrous figure, ogre-like. You see a mutated looking man with a bald head, distorted sort of lumpy features with a long chin that's protruding out, tusks that have grown sort of randomly out of his mouth, yellowed at the tips, and bright white underneath where they seem to have emerged. His muscles are bulging out against his skin, seeing the musculature underneath. One arm is almost longer than the other, and he walks with this lumbering, fearful sort of movement. And these bulging round eyes that are bloodshot and bright yellow that you can see even through this footage, is a villain that at the very least, Bang Bang, you have heard of before.
Oh, she knows him.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that BB knows well, it's superhero and villain stat blocks, if you will, if we're going to use TTRPG slang. Father Fear is primarily a Diamond Soul villain, but has been fought by Tonitrus before, and various members of NOVA together. What you know about Father Fear is that he was a sort of a televangelist, pastor figure. Holy shit. This is
And-
already my favorite thing ever.
As he began to develop powers, his ethics shifted somewhat. He began to believe that fear itself is the great equalizer
Sure
and
sounds
the
like
true
the church to me.
pathway to the afterlife. His attention shifted from any sort of traditional notion of God and straight to the idea that all people need to be cleansed through fear. And as you can see
Nice. Awesome.
from
Nice.
his power, this footage is confirming what you already know of him. His power, notoriously, is that the more people are experiencing terror around him, the more his body absorbs it and mutates him into a monster.
Okay.
Cool.
He absorbs fear and it turns him into a hulking monster that you see before you. And as you see him running, the camera operator continues to run back and is like every so often getting shots of him just throwing cars. There are FCS agents who are shooting and bullets are like kind of ricocheting off of this hide that he has. And you hear him shouting,
Why do you run from your fate? Come forward, meet your fears, be cleansed through them and reborn. And join us in the light. Why do you run?
and as he continues to throw things around, you see everyone is like on the edge of their seats just watching this report in stunned silence. You see that Mr. Menagerie is actually standing in his seat. He looks like he's like ready to go.
I'm looking on a section at how Diamond Soul took him down the last time.
Mhm.
I'm not even paying attention to the news report anymore. I'm reading how he was beaten last time, based on records or news reports or whatever.
You have a very brief window to do that in. As you're starting to look at that, you get the basic idea that usually he's defeated by people bringing him away from large crowds and then just not being afraid of him. Because if he's got nothing to feed on, he will eventually turn back. He will get weaker.
Would BB know anything more beyond that, given that she's studied?
You would know that
Elves?
for the past few years, he has been safely locked away in Blackstone Prison.
Okay.
And you cannot fathom a reason why he would be being transferred anywhere, let alone why he would escape.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
But a very brief window goes by as you hear this sonic boom sound. And the reporter goes, "Hold on, wait, we're getting a new report. Could it be? Yes, it's Pantheon."
Mom.
And you see just boom, this blurred red cape appear and torpedo into his figure and just carry him with rocket force into a building and smash into it. But you see there's no structural damage to the building. He didn't smash into the building. He smashed into something else, something hard. And as the camera operator moves closer, you hear the reporter say, "I believe we have multiple members of NOVA on scene." You look and you see that Pantheon punched him directly into a diamond hard outline of a woman,
Yes.
completely
Nice.
encased in shimmering diamond.
Hot.
And you know this to be Diamond Soul. You can see her usual like blue and white outfit. You don't see the colors right now, but the outline remains of the diamond pattern across her stomach. And you see her like, big, like beautiful hair that frames her face and her domino mask. And she's standing there confidently as he just reflects against this massive figure, reflects against her completely hardened body. And like, and the fight begins to ensue. I'm also going to say that there are two other members of NOVA that arrive on scene, but I'm going to let each of you pick one and
my
describe
God.
how they contribute to the fight.
I would also like to say, I think that the fro does get rock hard,
Mhm.
but it's not like it becomes
Nice.
one solid mass. It's like every individual like coil like gets rock hard. So it'll still move like hair. It's just like rock hard hair.
Can you give us a rundown of the members of NOVA?
Yeah. You've got Tonatress, you've got
And their powers as well.
Tonatrus doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
He's martial artist
fighter,
with gadgets
guy.
and yeah. You've got Combio, who is a shapeshifter and a power mimic. You've got Fulcrum, who essentially knows the weight and like fulcrum points of any object that she holds. So anything is a deadly weapon in her hands. You've got, who am I forgetting? There are so many other members. Like we've got
Combio, Diamond Soul, Fulcrum, Prestige
with his magic illusion abilities and stuff.
Fortress.
Yeah. And Dr. Quickstep, the speedster and inventor. And then you have all the other members of like the auxiliary members who are not like the main 7, but you know, like people like Indigo with her water powers and the electric fighter who was once Tonatrus's partner in crime fighting. Blackout.
Yeah, I remember Blackout. He was also super hot. They're all super hot. I think that I would say I think Dr. Quickstep is on the scene, and she is grabbing people and running them out of the radius of Father Fear's powers, so that he is getting weaker and weaker and weaker as she takes more and more people out.
That's so cool. So you just see this red and yellow blur moving through the crowd, and as she zips around, you see fewer people like boop, 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 like in a matter of like split seconds. The crowd just dissipates.
I think Fulcrum is there just because I want to see her beat the fuck out of someone. So she's, I think she's just there to provide actual like physical support. And you just see this fat woman clad in absolute stunning like purples and fuchsias, just moving with incredible speed and skill and precision, and she's just going to town as I think Father Fear just starts to diminish.
Queen.
Like the more he diminishes, the more beat up she makes him, you know?
And as she is, like, he can't match. And once he's in his regular form, he's not a fighter. He's just a guy. And you do see that he is just sort of this skinny, bald man with high cheekbones and sort of deep set eyes that are just sort of big and wild. And the tattered remains of his clothes are still there, his prison orange. And as Fulcrum just... she has a staff with her. She sort of twirls it around and then she knocks him upward. And as he flies a few feet into the air, Pantheon sails up, punches him, and then, but she kind of like gives one of these, and he flies down and lands almost like catcher's mitted in Diamond Soul's arms. And she just sort of ping, like elbows him, and then catches him where he falls, and he is out like a light.
Nice.
Diamond Soul's diamond body sort of disintegrates away in sort of like a kind of a sparkling dust, and then you see that blue and white costume, her dark skin underneath. She is just smiling ear to ear at the crowd as people begin to start to fade back in. Quickstep zips over.
Yeah.
She looks around. They all nod to each other. Pantheon is still floating above, waving, but she starts to sort of move around the crowd and help people out. And the news reporter goes, "More updates as they come, but the danger is over. We repeat, the danger has ended. Father Fear has been subdued, and FCS, we are getting word, is on their way to detain the prisoner." And it sort of fades out from there.
So can I propose something cool that I think Silhouette could have figured out?
Sure.
So we have these earpieces that we used last volume to communicate with Pantheon when we were apart.
Yeah.
I think the range is too far away right now, but what I'm proposing is if you have your cell phone, Silhouette has sort of
it's
come
like a
up with
hotspot.
Yeah, it's sort of like you essentially call on the phone, but it's linked to the headpiece. So you can essentially just like use the phone as a range extender in a way. And so instead of like calling Pantheon on Pantheon's cell phone, it's like using the phone to call Pantheon on the headpiece.
It's like the walkie-talkies become a Bluetooth headset that
Yeah.
also still walkie-talkies.
Cool.
But to get that range, you still need the phone to sort of like, you know, link everything together.
Yeah.
Because the earpieces are not on like a cellular network or anything. They're just connected to each other, and that has limited range. And I would like to call Pantheon on that earpiece if possible.
Interesting. You do get a response. She says, is there an emergency?
No, I just wanted to know if you knew the status on Silencer. Because Silencer is also in the prison that Fear broke out of. Yeah.
As far as we can tell, this is an isolated incident, but we'll look into it.
All right.
Don't worry too much. We've got it under control.
Okay.
That's what they always say.
Yeah. So Hairmone's like, oh my God, when the superhero come out. Don't superhero voice me.
As this, like, you notice watching the footage, the Pantheon, you're watching Pantheon. She's not like going like this, talking to anybody, but you swear you see a blurred, like, woof, one of her returning back to her main form.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to see the wrap up. You see they're starting to, like, you know, do interviews. And what you notice is this perfect harmony. You saw this well-oiled machine that is Nova with Pantheon at the head, working as a perfect unit. You look around at the structural damage done by Father Fear. It's already practically being cleaned up. It's almost untraceable now that something has even happened in just a matter of minutes.
Nice.
You see them addressing the crowd, and you see that no structural damage was done by the heroes themselves. There's something beautiful and perfect about the way that this has played out. And you look over at Silhouette, who is just like, she goes, they're the best. They really are.
It is certainly impressive.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
A silence falls over the rest of the table, a humbled silence, especially from Menagerie, who stands there and watches. He had been standing tall, light reflecting off of him, almost making him look older than he is. But he sits back down. He nods. That's what we came here for. You guys finish your meal. Watch as the excited chatter around the room continues, but starts to die down over time. The news report fades into just sort of like battle reports and continued coverage, but the danger does seem to be over. You guys have the rest of the day, unless you want to just immediately fast forward to the next day. You guys can feel free to briefly tell me what you do with the rest of your day / night.
You know, I feel like we know Helix enough that like he to at least have an educated guess that like he would just not tell anyone what happened or anything. So I think no, Hairomone wouldn't text Ivy about it because then Ivy would know. So I think Hairomone does, for a quick second, just go to House Tonitrus to see if he's there, just to check in with him. And then I think after that, they just go and lie down. They're a little sad because they have the need for a heat pack. They haven't really hung out with Backtrack. because neither of them are really into that. So after that, I think they just lie down for the rest of the evening, like cramps. But yeah, I think before that they go to House Tonitrus just to check, just to see if he's there. You know, he seemed pretty perturbed.
Ivy will confirm that he is not. He did not come home.
All right. Cool. I think Hairomone will just say, "Oh, cool. I'll see you later." I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't mention that I came by. Actually.
Are you talking to Ivy?
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, sure, I can do that. Between you and me, I mean, this is kind of typical, but I worry it's approaching less than typical.
Just don't ask him about it, but something happens today and he seemed pretty upset by it, and I just wanted to make sure he was okay. But don't tell him I told you that. I just, you know.
Hey, cone of silence here. I get it. I'm used to it. When your best friend is like mine, you start getting used to a lot of things. I don't know. I like to think I know him well enough to know that something isn't quite right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I mean, that's my man, you know?
Yeah, it's like a hard balance between like wanting to get to know him and patience. Because he seems like a man that requires a lot of emotional patience to get to know, you know? And it's like, I don't know how to navigate this space, my guy. But, you know, it's fine. It's whatever. It was a small thing. He's probably just working it off, you know, blowing off the steam. He'll probably be fine.
I hope so. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to let him be. You know, he's a good man and a good friend, and I trust him enough to leave well enough alone when it's clear that that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is that there might come a day when what he wants and what he needs are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my role as his friend is going to require of me when that day comes. So I'm just over here hoping it never does.
You know, this is why we're friends, because I feel the exact same way. I probably would have said it in a very stupid, convoluted way. But yes to that.
Hey, did I hear something about a bird?
Friday.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's cool. I've got chicken. He starts cooking.
And I leave.
Oh.
And I think BB she starts out the evening off by herself practicing with her concussive blasts. She's trying to get better at using them for maneuvering, as well as knowing when to use them correctly in battle. You see her kind of being a little bit hesitant to use the bang bang laser blasts.
Mm-hmm.
And so she practices with that for a while, then she goes back to the house, and I think that she has a library book. She's starting to educate herself more on the history of the first city and like the general transition that went from being on Earth to this new planet and how cultures developed out of that.
Yeah.
So as she's walking through the door back into the house, she grabs the book. She goes over to the walkie-talkie robot that we have with Freddy,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of rubs the head for good luck. And then she goes to her room and starts reading. you see on the desk or the bedside table next to her, she has, I believe there's a phone that I took off my mom at the end of last season that had info on it that then got wiped.
Yes.
So she just has it there, and she kind of will look at it every once in a while, but she's reading, and she takes out her real phone and texts Troubleshooter, did you see Father Fear fight today? Question mark, crazy, period. And you see a bunch of like text conversations between them. That's BB starting the conversation, and then Troubleshooter responding with like few word answers, and then that being the end of the conversation.
Yeah, something I just realized, Hairomone doesn't lay on the floor or on her bed being like, Hairomone is in a pretty good mood. And that mood quickly turns a little sour as we see in their room this huge display of maximalism and like culture of like, the room is decorated. There's no square inch of wall on the room. It's all decorated with trinkets and posters and images, and there's stuff hanging from the ceiling and blah, 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 blah. But we see a blue hollow screen, you know, and Hairomone crisscrossed on the bed, tight, like hands poised to type. And it says at the top of the document, preliminary report, and the little cursor, the line is blinking on and off, and Hairomone will like type something, delete it, blink, 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 type something, delete it. And it goes on for a while until Hairomone just sort of gets really frustrated and just wipes it away and then goes to bed.
Do I hear anything back from Troubleshooter?
Yeah, actually. After a couple minutes, maybe like 2 minutes, you'll see a response that says, yeah, what fuckhead let him escape in the first place, I wonder.
Haha, who knows? Hope we find out, though. LOL.
And to your surprise, the conversation...
The most awkward text conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
To your surprise, the conversation doesn't end there. She will continue to talk to you for a while.
Oh.
More than you've seen before.
Yeah.
And she says...
Shared interest?
Right. Now, what kind of prisoner transfer takes a route through the downtown financial district? Makes you wonder.
BB would know if there are holding facilities over there, right? At least ones that are known to the public.
There are, like, you could get... I mean, here's the thing. Blackstone is practically on its own island. So the idea that they would transfer and then drive through this area, it's like there's no version of that in your head that makes sense unless there's information you don't know.
That's what I'm asking. Is there's no place that they could be going over there that I would know?
There could be, but logically going there through that way wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
If they were on a boat already with this very dangerous prisoner who shouldn't be around people, they could have gone closer to the destination and then gone straight there. Why would they park the boat all the way over there and then drive through the city to the closest place, right? It's not close. There's not a place close enough that makes sense, I should say.
Yeah. What would she say? She'd start with, haha, yeah.
All of them start with haha.
All of it starts with haha or lol. Haha, yeah. It seems like almost intentional. I mean, what safer place is there than Blackrock? Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. Exclamation point. Question mark.
Almost immediately, you get a response that says 6 feet under comes to mind.
But Nova captured him, right? Haha.
Right. Period. And you get nothing else.
Work. Oh my God, I love her.
BB sends back a really cringy gif of like someone putting on sunglasses and nodding.
That's all you hear from her for the rest of the day.
All right, yeah. Well, BB goes about reading, and she keeps the phone that was her mom's like next to her pretty much at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the end of the day. What's Silhouette doing for the rest of the day?
Interesting. So I imagine that she probably goes to the library. She'll tell you guys that she's going to the library. While Natasha is not here, I'm going to have fun playing a little bit with, like, if you guys aren't involved and she goes off on her own, I'm not always going to tell you what she's doing.
She's vibing.
I think that's going to create an interesting dynamic.
Me time.
Now I'll tell Natasha off screen and talk to her about it. 50%, well, more than 50%, mostly in the interest of I'm not going to make big character decisions for her without her input. But the other thing is, I think it's interesting to have an element of her life that you don't particularly know. And you see that I was going to say of the three of you, but Hairomone really has the most like friendships, but Silhouette has bonded closely with a couple of people, namely with Teatro and Wi-Fi. So you know that she kind of has her own life that she goes and she hangs out with them. But you see that she's been pretty social. She's been making an effort to like talk to other people and go out. But there are times where she'll like go to the library. She'll just tell you guys she's like going to do some research or she's going to hang out with somebody. And usually you can leave it alone because you have no reason to really suspect anything weird or anything. But yeah, she tells you that she's going to go off to the library, do some light reading. And she comes back around dinner time, shares a meal with you guys, and goes to bed. Seems like everything is normal.
Nice. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. So then, as we sort of do, you all wake up the next morning, have some breakfast, not knowing entirely what to be ready for. You know, you have a basic sort of list of preparations, you know, to like bring your gear, something you can move in, but she didn't tell you that you needed anything else like specific for the day. She didn't say that you need to like have masks ready or anything, which is not something that happens very often, because you don't have your like provisional licenses yet. So you're not usually going out into the field and doing stuff, not ever really doing that. So I imagine you guys just have your gear, whatever you're going to wear that you think you can move in, do some training in, and come around 10 a.m. You guys make your way to the center of campus where the glimmering silver spire-like tower, the administrative tower, where you know up near the top is Fortress's office. Always some bustling activity, people coming in and out of this place, meeting with their counselors, meeting with Fortress. You know that there's always activity happening here. And there are absolutely tram sort of railways going through levels higher up in this place. And as you get here, Pantheon is sitting on a bench. She is in her costume. She's in her costume. I was going to say she's not wearing her wig, but I think she is. I think she's full getup.
The wig is essential.
Yeah. How do the physics work with her power set and the wig not coming off? Who knows? It's the future. Don't worry about it.
It's a future wig.
It's a future wig. It works way better than present day wigs.
We have the technology.
Exactly. So she stands up to meet you guys and she goes, "All right. Ready to start the day?"
Yeah.
As ready as we'll ever be.
Lovely. Don't be nervous. I'm not trying to be secretive or anything. I said before that we had the best field trip ever. I understand it was a little bit shady, and I do apologize for that. This one may be in the running for the actual best field trip ever. But we'll see. This way. And she leads you guys into the administrative building, through the lobby, and over to the elevator. As the elevator doors close, with only you three in them, she looks at sort of all the buttons on, it's probably a touch screen with the different buttons. You see that she types something in. She like hits the buttons in a certain order that brings up another screen with a handprint.
Oh, we're going somewhere.
Whoa.
Oh.
She puts her hand on it, and you see that it scans her hand, and you hear through the speakers, "Authorization accepted, Pantheon." And then the elevator begins to go up, and up, and up, and up. You see the floors that you're passing. It passes the high floor that Fortress, that her office is on.
Are we going to a Skybase?
We're in a fucking great glass elevator, y'all.
Yeah, are we going to a Minecraft Skybase?
Finally, the elevator doors open, and you do indeed see that you are on the roof. And from up here, you can see the whole school, widespread and beautiful. And you see those sort of metal walls with sensors all along the top in case anybody tries to like climb over it, they would know who came in. You see the entryways, people coming in and out, sort of swiping their cards and their devices. You see people moving in and out of their classes in different buildings. You see people flying around, glimmers of powers, trains going by. The full scope and immensity of this place, as seen from above, from a new angle that you haven't had before. And it is beautiful. When looking around on this rooftop, you see that there is in fact a helipad up here. And sitting dead center on this helipad is a sizable shuttlecraft. It looks to be, it's not really a helicopter. It doesn't whir or anything. It has repulsors on it, and there are wings that are currently folded up. It's white and black with maybe a blue stripe down the center of it. It's a little bit Star Tours. And
nice.
As you step out onto the rooftop, the ramp extends, and out walks Diamond Soul. And as she walks up to you guys, she goes, "Hey, Team Pantheon. Nice to finally meet you in person. I mean, officially, right? I mean, I've seen you in all of our like preliminary training and stuff. Heard a lot about you, of course. But it is very, very nice to actually get a chance to talk to you. Hi."
Hello, nice to
Hi.
meet you. Nice to meet you. What are we doing?
You look nervous, BB. Am I intimidating?
Hairomone is fighting off a blush.
She looks over to Pantheon and she goes, I think you're intimidating. And then she crosses her arms. And then she just laughs, and the two of them erupt in laughter, and they hug. And you hear a voice from inside the shuttle. A heavily accented voice. Say, are we meant to be staying in here? Or are we meant to come out? I can't do a French voice at all, but we're gonna try.
Fuck is this?
And you see just the little faintest hint of purple skin peeking out, eyes looking. And Diamond Soul goes, I mean, we were going for an air of mystique, but you can come on. Yeah, come on. And you see 5 students who you know to be her team, Team Diamond Soul, filter out of the shuttle.
She has 5?
She has
Damn.
5.
Damn, shoddy.
Ian said, you can make NPCs. And I said, okay, bet.
And in the interest of that, this is a team that was completely created by Asteria. So as they filter out, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to briefly describe these 5 people.
So, Acrobat was first. You see a completely purple friend with a purple tail and 2 little horns peeking out of their forehead, or her forehead. Let me consult the list that has the pronouns because I've already forgotten myself. Yes, out of her head, and she has brown hair, medium brown hair, probably close to actually your hair, Eric, in this light.
Ooh.
And it's like shaved on the sides, and it's a curly mohawk, you know, that goes all the way down. And they're wearing like a black dancer's like leotard thing with like a red sash or an orange sash. Oh no, it fell. And so they step out and she comes forward, and she has bright green, I want to say, eyes that are just like big and wide, and little fangs, little teeny teepees. I think next steps out this stunning woman with or person with this beautiful golden skin, this big nose, a middle part with long dark hair. She's wearing a white tank top with like a pink mini skirt with like athletic shorts underneath. And I think actually it's in a ponytail right now, so it's a middle part into a ponytail. And they're beaming, bouncing, practically skipping as Equilibrium steps out of this shuttlecraft. Next, I think we just see like flannel and blonde that goes to turquoise at the tips. You see a white person with like slick back in the style I just mentioned, with a long red flannel that goes down to like mid calf. It's like a cloak almost, with like a black tank top and blue jeans. This is the Alchemist. The is very important, and he will not let you forget it. Who's left? Siphon. You see a Japanese man with longer hair that's half up, half down in a little ponytail and a little bit of a chin beard going on, and he has a thin leather choker thing happening that wraps around his neck a couple of times, and he's wearing just a basic like pale blue t-shirt with some like dark blue skinny jeans.
Extremely chiseled face.
The cheekbones are so right. We've mentioned Siphon last volume as someone that Silhouette like sort of like knows a little bit, but we never got to see them. And then lastly is Snapshot, who we've all met before.
Yeah, so I think coming out last, sort of shuffling down like on a delay after everybody else, Snapshot, the only member of this team that you all already know and have hung out with, who, as you remember, wears hijab and has sort of like big eyes looking around and with like a coat.
Yeah,
right?
long long leather coat, kind of like Spike from Buffy, with like blue. I think she's wearing a sports hijab right now, so it's very like tight to the head, and that's sort of like a gray. And then like she's wearing like long, like almost like a jumpsuit sort of thing. It's like there's a whole fan of blue here on this team. It's another like powder blue like jumpsuit that goes all the way down. And when Snapshot comes out, that blush that Hairomone was trying to fight, like it fully breaks loose, and they're like, we should have been warned, and I regret choosing surprise.
And then comes the 6th member of the team, a blue man group man.
Yeah,
who's just here.
So as as Snapshot comes down the ramp last, she goes, "Oh, hey guys! Oh, it's been a minute. How are you guys doing?" And you see that she fully like trips on the lip on the bottom of the thing, on the bottom of the ramp. And as she falls down, you see the alchemist turns, flicks a finger up, and a bit of earth from the like helipad comes up in a pillar. And it almost like gut punches her in a way, but it keeps her up.
Oh God.
And then she props herself back up. It was clearly like fast enough to catch, but not enough to hurt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, the alchemist. I appreciate it. And he goes, I apologize if I have now damaged the roof of the helipad, but I do not like to let my friends sort of fall on their faces and embarrass themselves in front of another team that we're all very excited to meet. So, hello, nice to meet you. I'm the alchemist.
Hello, everyone.
The alchemist. Hello.
Selena, also known as Hairomone.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that you just sort of do first names immediately. That's very nice of you, very trusting. I appreciate it. I mean, we all know each other's first names, but I didn't know if we were comfortable just jumping right into that. So, well, I got Irish for a second.
Yeah, you did.
It happens. We're doing a lot of different accents for this team.
I really made a gauntlet for you.
You made a very difficult challenge for me by making all accents that are really hard. But I'm going to do it.
I mean, don't feel like you have to reciprocate. I is what I'm comfortable with.
Siphon goes,
at least
that's cool. We weren't going to.
At least on the campus. Maybe if we're going somewhere, it seems maybe do the hero name, but like here around, I don't really care.
Acrobat goes, well, I mean, it may very well be that we could become friends down the line. So.
Oh my God, I'm in love.
I'm BB. Hello. I go Bang Bang is the superhero name that I use. Nice to meet you.
Silhouette. I turn invisible. That's my thing. Sniff.
We're all very charismatic and outgoing individuals, as you can tell.
Some of them laugh. And Diamond Soul goes, all right, enough waiting around. Come on, let's get on the shuttle. We got places to be. We got things to do.
Cool. I regret still not choosing to be informed. I love this. I love what's happening right now.
Do you not like flying?
I'll be fine.
Little baby, if you need a bag, I will get you one.
No, that's not the issue. I won't. That's not.
Pantheon, do they have a flying thing? I'm not going to put a student on a shuttle.
It. Let's just say if I exposure therapy, if I just keep going up in the air, maybe I'll be fine eventually.
All right, I'm going to sit close, all right? Because you're not going to have a bad time today. We're not doing that. We don't do that. I don't know what Pantheon does. Pantheon goes, we don't do that. If you don't want to go in the shuttle, I will fly you myself. But we're making a scene, and that's making it worse. Let's get on the shuttle. And as you guys sort of move over to the shuttle, Snapshot hangs back, and she goes, I don't like flying that much either. It's not my favorite.
Meet cute.
But it's fine. We're going somewhere pretty cool.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough how much we do not travel by flying where I'm from.
Really?
No.
Because I would have thought that, flying is kind of the only way you can really get in there safely. I don't know if you want to talk about that. And as this conversation is happening, you guys get up in the ramp and it closes behind you. And you see this very comfortable limousine-esque, but also a little bit school bussy, very comfortable interior with cushioned seats all the way down on either side and then wrapping around the edge. There's like a pilot area. There is like an automated pilot who is there. There's like a fun like training robot who is there, who like, welcome aboard.
I'm getting really tired of these robots, I have to say. I know that that's just our general school amenities, but man, we've had some experiences with them.
They don't really have a person. Like if they had a personality, that would be a little bit better. But when you don't have a personality, it's like, cool, I'm entrusting my whole life, my whole ass life to this this amalgamation of parts. You know?
Agreed.
Awesome.
Diamond Soul sits down in the co-pilot seat and actually like slides over the pilot's like console control over to her. And she goes, yeah, I'm going to take this one. I mean, I'm fine with the robots. You should have seen when we used to try and make them look like more human, surprisingly or not surprisingly, depending on how much media you've consumed. That was worse. It's better that they're just robots. I promise you, it was awful. Whew. So here's what we're going to do.
We haven't quite reached Westworld level.
I'm not sure if I fully know what that is.
Oh my God. First of all, you people don't know about Scooby-Doo. And then
hey, I know about Scooby-Doo.
Just
insulting me in my own shuttle. Well,
please
it's not my
just
shuttle.
fly the shuttle.
Is Scooby-Doo a superhero?
Yes.
In my heart.
She says, she goes, yes. And she takes off. She goes, strap in, everybody. No, actually, I'm not flying this thing until seatbelts are on.
Click.
Seatbelts on.
And the shuttle very smoothly takes off. And you see out the windows the school getting smaller and smaller as you go higher and farther away, flying off in an easterly direction. And Silhouette looks kind of antsy, and she looks around. There's a look on her face like she's figured something out already based on the direction that you're going. And she looks at you guys and she goes, do you guys know where we're going? I think I know.
No, I'm not looking out the window on purpose.
I think
Where? Why do you have that face?
And it's been a few minutes. It's not a long journey for sure. And this thing is going pretty fast. This shuttle is moving surprisingly fast, but it's so smooth that you can almost not even feel it. But you only notice it because you look out and you see the clouds going by.
No, I don't. No, I close my eyes.
And she goes, they're taking us to look. And she points out the front view screen, and you look and you see first a huge platform, enormous, almost like the size of a small town in a weird sort of way, more like the size of a very large shopping mall, actually, more accurately. And it's kind of like a big dinner plate in a way. It's silver and flat on the top, but domed on the bottom. It's also a good way to describe it is sort of like those big Navy vessels that float that are like landing pads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's floating on repulsors in the sky. And then up above it,
Minecraft Skybase,
you see that there is a shimmering sort of outline of a shimmering field that domes around a series of structures. In the center it looks almost like a very vintage, very classic superhero, sort of a hall of justice kind of a place. It's got pillars holding it up with bits of metal accenting it here and there, with a domed top to it and accents of gold here and there. And you see other buildings and shops as you get closer to it that are emerging. You see a big library. There are all of these different structures making this almost like a small community. And as you get closer to it, you see that Pantheon and Diamond Soul are typing stuff in on the front console, and they move through that bubble. And that's the first time that you feel some sort of a resistance. There's like a shift.
Whoa.
Almost in gravity, but not quite. And you move through, and then you're in it. And you can see out the window down. There are people walking around Some of them are heroes that you've heard of before. None of the like main Nova members, because they're all like kind of at work right now, but you see some other heroes hanging out. But mainly you see people in, I'm going to say, purple and gold uniforms that are walking around or like sitting at little coffee tables on break. Some of them are like sort of operating different elements of the shops and stuff that you see. It is a sprawling series of structures that all of you know now that you're here exactly where you are. And Pantheon turns to you and goes, "Welcome to NOVA Skybase."
Yeah.
Wow. This is something else.
Silhouette fully just goes, just like a silent scream. So as the shuttle begins to move closer and closer, it begins to slow. And you see a building beneath you, big and squat, and the top of it sort of slides open, leaving a big doorway. And the shuttle begins to descend and come to a landing. As the doors open, Pantheon and Diamond Soul step out first, and they go, Pantheon turns and she goes, "Don't be shy, guys. I mean, I am very excited to show you this."
Hairomone, zoom off the shuttle.
BB is just staring around slack-jawed, looking at everything.
You step out and you see the people that work here in those purple and gold uniforms. Pantheon and Diamond Soul immediately greet them and they begin to laugh, look like they know each other. People begin to come and tend to the shuttle, make sure everything is okay. There are other people working on other shuttles that are parked here. There are other interesting crafts and there are doored off areas in here. It looks like the door that you came through at the top is not the only way in. There are other subsections of this hangar that you could like be in. And there's a big, like wide open door on the other side, the far side, that looks like where people kind of come in and out of the hangar from.
So what are we doing?
Diamond Soul comes up to you guys and goes, "All right, forgive all the theatrics. I mean, you can understand why we wanted to surprise you guys with this. This is a big deal, obviously. Now, we want to make sure that you guys have this first and foremost. I think she reaches into a bag and pulls out these bracelets. They're very simple. They look like sort of metal-ish, like metallic colored elastic bands. And she hands one to everyone. And she goes, "These are functionally visitor passes. They just mean that you're here visiting with us. Everybody here is trusted. The people who work here, well, they work here. And they're good at their jobs and discreet. No one here is going to expose you or anything. That being said, be cool, right? Like, don't mess with anything. Don't go to any restricted areas. There are places here, of course, that you can't go for obvious reasons. I mean, this is big headquarters, but we frequently have people visit this place. It's not, it's far from unheard of. This is a place where we welcome people to come see how we do things. We don't want to just float above Paragon and, send out squads to go put out fires. We want to be open. And so we let people visit here, which is why we have shops and dining and a library that's open to the public mostly. And, there's all kinds of stuff to explore here. And hopefully you'll get to do that. Because what we're doing today is, Pantheon, I think you should take a little bit of this. And Pantheon goes, right. Look, I took a cynical approach with the first lesson. We played hide and seek, and I had you looking for something that was ultimately symbolic, didn't really matter. I believe in that lesson. I really do. But in retrospect, maybe not the, first thing I should have put on the menu for you guys. However, I do stand by the value of hide and seek. So, Diamond and I, we're going to go sequester ourselves away somewhere. We've left clues around the Skybase for you to find that will lead you to our location. Your job, all of you together, is to find us as quickly as you can. There's no time limit, no particular reward. Do your best, and we'll be waiting.
That's it?
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. So Equilibrium turns and goes, yeah, is that it? There's no like, I mean, I've heard things about the way that you no disrespect, Pantheon. Just the way that you do things, and I'm expecting like a twist ending or something. And I'm gonna say Siphon goes like, and Pantheon goes, no, there's no big twist. This is the exercise. We want to see you work together. Find a solution. Find us. We'll be watching. Do you want to see the rest of the place?
Yeah, definitely.
Right this way. And the two of them lead you, the whole group, the 8 of you, honestly, with Silhouette just like
vibrating.
Yeah, vibrating into the next dimension. They walk you over to the hangar doors. They open, and you step out into this room, this sort of antechamber. And you see that all of the walls are black. And upon closer inspection, the walls are all screens. And there is a metal door on the other side. Diamond and Pantheon look at each other, look at you, and they go, all right, hide and seek. Both of them put a hand on the wall, and lights erupt on the screen around where their hands are, and then dotted lines trace from their fingers over to the door. And then there is a sensor bar on the center of the door that lights up. The door opens. The two of them step out, and the door closes behind them. And you hear a and then you just hear like a whoosh.
And a tap, 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 tap.
And the 8 of you are left in this little room.
BB leans over to Silhouette and goes, I feel like it's kind of like a moving room that we're just going to have to find the right exit to get to Pantheon and Diamond Soul. Is there any way that you can, like, hack into NOVA Skybase and, like, find out where they are and or get security camera access, excuse me?
I could try. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, we could. They said they left clues.
It accomplishes the objective, though. We're just supposed to find them.
Less potentially uncomfortable. I don't know if I love these headsets. They're the best thing you've made so far. Is there a way to potentially track where Pantheon's is? Ergo, tracking where Pantheon is? Assuming she has it with her in her ear right now, but who knows? Maybe she thought of that.
I could try. That feels a little easy. But I can try.
I mean, I have tracking talent, but it's kind of hard when you're in a sterile environment. There's not much to track right now.
And I feel like a lot of Pantheon's challenges as they were is kind of a no rules, just right situation.
As you guys are having this conversation, you hear chatter around you, and you look over and you see the 5 of Team Diamond Soul are completely huddled around each other. They're talking, bouncing ideas off of each other. Alchemist goes, well, it seems as though it's the most important thing at this moment first. They said that they left clues, so we're going to have to try and get out of this room. Obviously, there's only one door out. And Equilibrium goes, yeah, so, I mean, if we need to figure out, we saw what they did, right? So we could try to recreate that. All right, everybody break. And then they all separate around the room. Each one of them, one at a time, puts their hand up on the screened wall. And you see one at a time, they do it. They do like a trial and error thing. And the light lights up, and it goes and it hits. And then one of them will try the door and it doesn't go. And they go, okay, so one of us at a time can't do it. So maybe if we, and then they huddle again. And then Snapshot looks back at you guys and goes, hey, do you guys want to join in? We're trying to figure out how to get out of this room. But you're welcome. We're supposed to work together, right?
Maybe it's a one from each team kind of situation.
Oh.
Maybe.
I'll go try to put my hand on a wall near one of Team Diamond Soul.
Okay, you do that, and Snapshot tries to do it at the same time as you. And your handprint and her handprint both light up, and the lights go, and you see that sensor bar, it fills up almost like a loading bar, and it fills up like a quarter of the way, and then stops. And then they take she takes her hands away and goes, that was more. It lit up more.
They're so dramatic. I think we all have to do it all at the same time.
I agree with Hairomone.
Hairomone just walks up to the thing and is like waiting for everyone else. Just rolling their eyes.
BB doesn't take her hand off the wall.
Okay. Acrobat goes, all right, all together now. And they all put their hands on, comically, like at the same second. They're all like, and the doors open. You see like a brief little like high five between Siphon and the Alchemist, like underneath, like from each other as the door opens completely and stays open.
In my earpiece to Pantheon, I go, y'all are so corny, and walk through the door.
You go to do that and you get no response. It just sounds like static on the other end.
You bitch. What if we were in actual trouble?
What do we see outside of the room?
Outside of the room, you now see at ground level this beautiful like outdoor mall type environment. Of course, you see there are other heroes flying around. Some of them sort of acknowledge you and wave. It seems as though like, NOVA members, they know who you are, roughly. But most of the workers here, it seems like a kind of a light day. Not a lot is going on. There's not a lot of people sort of around. But there are people like hanging out at these sort of outdoor cafe areas. You see over to your left, there are a series of shops and storefronts. You see ahead of you, down a path a little ways, is the biggest centralmost building in the place, and there's a pathway leading straight to it. There are pathways leading all around to different areas, but there are like grassy sort of park-like areas with trees and like park benches and tables and places to sit where people are hanging out on their breaks and stuff. But carved out straight in the center from where you are to the center of this place is that massive building that you now know to be Nova Hall. And it looks palatial and wonderful, all white and gold with huge marbled pillars out front and a domed ceiling. You see accents of like gold stars, like murals sort of painted, glinting against the sunlight. And that just faint shimmer of the bubble of like field, protective field around this whole place. And it is kind of sprawling. Now that you're not like looking at it from above from the window of a shuttle, now that you're down here, you see there's a lot of places you could go. And just from a basic like looking around perspective, the first thing that you do notice is a few feet in front of you, off to the side, there is a like mall directory, basically.
Is there an information desk?
Not as far as you can see, not like immediately around you. It looks like the best bet to find out like where everything is to look at that directory.
Oh, that's not okay.
Is there anything that looks like a clue?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Clues. Oh, can I make one?
Yeah, you both can.
1 out of 2.
1 out of 2.
Oh, beans. 2 out of 3.
Okay, so 2 out of 3 and 1 out of 2. You guys both, like, of course, the directory is positioned in such a way where it's, this is the first place people go. They get here via the hangar and then step out and they need to know where to go, right? So looking at that directory, it does catch your eye that there is something glinting, something small, maybe a little bit bigger than a marble, like maybe about that big.
Okay.
That is silver and it's glinting in the light, and it's placed on the lip of the directory, like that it's sitting on.
It's
like
not
the
on the map.
screen here. It's in front of the map, but there's like a lip, like it's on like a pedestal and there's a lip of it, and the map is here, but it's sitting right here in front of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pick up the golden thing?
Yeah, or it's silver thing. Yeah, and you pick it up and you look at it, and Silhouette looks at it and she goes, she kind of snaps out of her reverie looking at Nova Hall. There's it almost looks like she's like almost in tears. Yeah, she's like looking at it, and she looks back at you guys, noticing that the group has converged around this directory, and they're already like Team Diamond is already looking at it and like starting to talk about it. And Silhouette walks up and she goes, "Oh, that's a project orb."
Who now?
Oh, you gotta hit the. May I?
Sure, I hand it over to her.
She takes it and she like spins a little section of it, and you hear something click, like a central ring in the middle of it. And as it does, you see a little lens is revealed, and it begins to project words holographically up above, like a little screen, similar to the table earlier.
Mm.
And it simply says, clue number 1.
Oh, they meant like clues, like actual Blue's Clues, clues.
Where do you seek information?
The information desk. The library.
My phone. The library.
Okay, so you need to kind of find out where the library is, and you guys
confer with Team Diamondsville. Probably the library, right? You guys think so?
I mean, if I was going to conduct any research, I would probably start at the library. Yes, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good call.
So, where's the library on the directory?
So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you guys.
That's what you were making earlier.
The directory. One moment.
Shit.
Ooh.
Okay, so you guys now have the directory. You are in the space between the hangar and Nova Hall.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that area.
Shops, dining, training city, residence, recreation rooms.
So we just go around Nova Hall, and then the library's right there.
Mm.
So let's go.
Snapshot goes, yeah. And Snapshot takes a look at the directory, and she goes, she like kind of keeps the image, and then she burns it onto a piece of paper in her notebook. So she has the directory in front of her.
As we're walking around Nova Hall and we're walking by the shops area, I guess, are there any shops that sort of carry, as best as I could tell, anything that like seems to be like, or even if I can see past the shops to the dining area, any shop that has like Pantheon's favorite food, Pantheon's style of clothing generally, from what we know of her, anything that's like, it seems like Pantheon, when she's here, could go here.
I mean, there's like burger places and stuff. There are clothing stores here. Usually, a lot of the stuff it seems like is for tourists and also for the people who work here. This is just where they eat and hang out,
Right.
you know? You also notice just from looking at the directory, there's like residences and like recreation rooms and like break rooms and places for the people who work here to hang out comfortably while they're here, as well. So you gather, like, looking at the types of shops as you're walking by. I assume you're walking by on the left, so you pass that way. There are definitely like clothing stores. It seems like they have a little bit of like hero merch, but they're trying not to be tacky about it. So it's not like Arbiter's level, but it's like every so often you'll see like a little action figure. Yeah.
It's like when you finally find like a piece of merch from like a show or something. Like you find a Star Wars shirt that doesn't have the word Star Wars on it. It's just the design. It's like, finally. I'm going to turn to everyone and say, look, I know the clue is telling us pretty much to go to the library, but there are some things that books can't tell you. And in 1 second, and I'm going to go over to one of the most Pantheon looking burger places, I guess, and ask some of the people, hey, hello, I am on a field trip, you could say. I'm on Pantheon's first year team at Moonlight, and I've lost.
Congratulations!
Thanks. I've lost her, and her favorite food seems to be burgers. And I was wondering if she frequented any of these places, or if you knew her, and had any insight of if I was a Pantheon and I was trying to hide as an training exercise, where would I be?
Yeah, I mean, she comes this way a lot. She likes to eat around here for sure, but I haven't seen her today.
So there's no other real place around here when she's here that she sort of likes to hang out in particular. She just sort of, there's no best guess. She just sort of comes and hangs around everywhere here.
Well, she actually doesn't come through here that much. I mean, she's only been back around for a little while, and in those days since she's been back, she'll come here. Usually she'll eat, or she'll go straight to the hall, and then she'll leave. She doesn't really hang around the shops or anything. Sorry if that's not helpful.
No, it's eliminating options, you know what I'm saying? And same thing with Diamond Soul. I assume Diamond Soul comes here a little more often than Pantheon has in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see Diamond all the time.
But still, same kind of deal. No particular area that she likes to hang around.
Oh, I mean, she makes the round. She likes to hang out in the recreation rooms, and just kind of spend some time with us.
Well, cool.
She plays mean air hockey.
Ooh, I might have to take her up on that later. Well, thank you. I'm Hairomone, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I'm Frank.
Frank, nice. Maybe when this is all done, when our little exercise is over, we'll grab a bite. I'll see you later.
Great.
Thanks.
I'll be working.
Cool.
So, he says as he's like cleaning something.
Yeah. And I come over to the group.
You run back, and the group, that took a couple minutes, and everybody was kind of waiting, and it looks like Team Diamond was sort of antsy, like ready to go ever since BB said like, oh, library. They've all been like, yeah, let's go. And so you come back, and Siphon goes, where did you run off to?
Oh, I wanted to ask the workers here if there's any particular place either of our team leaders like to hang out to get a potential sense of where they could be.
Oh, that's cool. We could have gone with you.
Well, I didn't bar you from coming with.
Oh, all right.
Sorry,
No.
I just sort of assume that like people intrinsically know. I have worked on a team before for multiple years, and I am so in that groove with that particular team. I forget that the people around me are not those people, and I'm not on that team anymore. So I apologize, and I won't do it again.
Well, thanks. it sounds like Beeb's kind of figured it out, which is cool. Sounds
But
like pretty cut and dry. We're going to the library.
While Hairomone went off and did that recon, could I have looked around to see if there's anything else in the environment that's sticking out?
Sure. If you want to
we
make
have
just a general perception, so intelligence probably.
Let's do it. 0 out of 2.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing is standing out really. That Nova Hall really takes up a lot of the focus here. The rest of it is like a really nice, very clean sort of area, and it just feels very pleasant here. And like the clouds and it's like beautiful blue sky above, the feeling of being in the air kind of goes away, that lightness in your stomach, and like the gravity here is, it's just like the technology is sort of out of your realm of understanding and mine.
Fair enough.
But the atmosphere here is kind of breathtaking, and you know that this place is open to the public, but to you, BB, even though this place is open to the public, it kind of stands as a beacon of what you wish you'd been able to go be a part of, you know?
Yeah.
If I'm interpreting that wrong, let me know, but
no, absolutely.
It seems like kind of a big deal for you to be here because it's an opportunity that represents people who put an opportunity out in the world to know them. And you are a person who that opportunity was not extended to, or you were not allowed to.
Yeah, BB's definitely like trying to search the crowd and the environment for any clues or anything, but just keeps getting pulled back to that thought of like of what could have been.
So as we're walking towards the library, I'll just essentially divulge what I found / didn't find. I mean, it sounds like, you know, Pantheon hasn't been here for a while and isn't here frequently for obvious reasons. But when she does come here, she sort of like hangs around wherever, but kind of sounds like she focuses down on the actual hall. And then Diamond Soul, it sounds like she really likes to hang out with the people here. Like she likes to hang out at people's houses and in the rec room and stuff. You know, one thing I learned about me, I'm a big fan of taking my time and covering all the bases, which I understand is kind of counterintuitive to what they told us to find them quickly. But, you know, maybe it'll come in handy later.
I mean, you know, we've all heard rumors of what, you know, Pantheon has been like, and it sounds as though she's making an effort to not, you know, have the rug pulled out from under us, so to speak. But that being said, you know, I understand your instinct to look sort of outside of the box that we've been presented, so neat and clean, you know. So this I understand. But following clues is also nice when we have clues to follow.
I mean, what Pantheon was saying of there's probably not going to be a twist is probably true. However, nothing is just that simple with her. So that's why I wanted to, you know.
Yes, it does sound like something someone who was planning a twist would say.
So we head on over to the library.
Yeah.
The library.
So the library.
And as you're walking over there, I don't want to neglect Acrobat just because the accent is hard. So forgive me, French viewers. But Acrobat, I did roll for Acrobat. And she did notice something with BB. And she falls into step with you, BB. Ooh. And she walks up and her tail swishes a little bit. She cocks her head and levels her eyes on you a little bit. She goes, I don't mean to impose, but I was wondering if you are all right.
Oh, yeah. I'm yeah. I appreciate you asking. It was not aware I was being watched. Yes, I'm fine. It's just I wish I could have come here a lot sooner.
Oh.
And been in, you know, this school and under the supervision of Nova and learning from them a lot sooner.
Well, the last thing I want to do is to pry. But there is a certain reputation around you. And there is a tendency for people to try to avoid you. And personally, I think that you seem quite lovely. And on our team, we take care of each other, both in and out of our costumes. We are friends first and heroes second. We all found our way to this school one way or another. I am glad to see you having things that you could not have before. And it is good to meet you. Bang bang.
It's good to meet you too, and you can apply whenever you want. I just
Oh, I see what you did there.
What? What I was gonna say is just that I don't want to be off-putting. I am learning. I haven't been around people a lot, so yeah, me and my team, we are getting there. I think we're friends. But I think that you guys definitely all work in a much more almost scarily in synchronicity kind of capacity than we are currently working at. But we'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
Well, I know a thing or two about people making assumptions and trying to keep their distance based on something or other. So, Team Diamond Soul, we are... Well, I think you will find we have quite a bit in common as far as identity. Suffice to say, I think it's quite clear that you can belong with us anytime.
BB really doesn't know how to respond to that, so she just nods and then starts walking a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. As you walk faster, you think about it. I'm not going to make you roll for it. There's a feeling...
Make me roll for it.
Do it.
Do it.
I mean, you can, but I was just going to say, you get the feeling that she read something off of you that hasn't really been, advertised in any way, but you know that she's telling you the truth.
I'll turn back to her and I'll say, and I'm walking backwards now as I turn back to her. How did you know that about me from looking at me?
How do we ever know? I don't know. We just do.
That's doesn't answer my question. And then she keeps walking. Thank you. And then keeps walking.
And you arrive at the library. As you get there, you see this. It's not unlike the library at Moonlight that you've been to before. It has this sort of space-like quality to it, bits of purple shining in the metal. And as it sits, this sort of iridescent bubble of knowledge. You see people filtering in and out of this building. There are smells wafting out from the inside that are equal part book, like fresh, clean smells, and some sort of bakery inside this library.
Bakery library combo?
There are 3 genders: bakery, fresh, clean smell, and book.
Yeah. So you get there and you're all kind of lined up, the 8 of you, like Power Rangers, just looking at this big building. And Silhouette looks around and goes, I mean, are we waiting for something? I want to go in, like, right now.
Yeah, let's go. Let's just go in. Why
I
not?
need to go in yesterday.
You can assume that you have. I'm giving you free reign. You can just go here.
Okay. And she goes. And inside this library, you do see that first on the first level, kind of off to one side, there is a sort of cafe bakery area. There are people who are sitting in booths essentially all throughout this place, reading, sipping coffee, just like gathering information. There are computers that people are like sitting at. There's kind of a computer lab area up top in that balcony area that you can see, and just wall to wall books all over the place. And every so often too, you see there are big holographic images playing. You'll see like a television playing the news somewhere on different levels, but the sound is controlled so that you hear like it's dynamic. The acoustics of this place are controlled through technology.
Yes.
So you walk closer, like in the vicinity of the TV, and you'll hear it, but it doesn't interfere if you want quiet. And it carries loud enough when you're close to it, but not when you're like just out of the radius, you know?
God, genius.
Super slick.
And you also notice right in the center of this room, there is a huge statue of Moonrider with his classic outfit, the first hero, with his long trench coat, both hands sort of outstretched open, welcoming you into this place. And he's smiling really wide. And Silhouette, you catch up with her and she's just standing under it, looking up, dwarfed by it.
You've always really liked Moonrider, huh?
Yeah.
Just grab her hand and stand there for a minute.
Sorry, I don't want to just so clues. Where do you There are other statues as well of famous members of Nova that you definitely know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to list them off. We know them by now.
Is
but
Pantheon there?
Yeah, any of the current members?
Pantheon is there. She looks different, much like the Pantheon statue from before. But she's there.
I'm gonna take
and she's got one arm up on like, because most of these the statues, they have one hand up because they are the pillar, they are the supports, and they're holding up the place, and usually their other hands are outstretched or doing something else. So hers, she's got one arm up and the other sort of outstretched above you guys. What are you doing?
I'm gonna take a selfie from here up with her statue and be like, "Found you," and text it to her.
Amazing. Yeah, again, you don't get anything back.
Yeah.
As you start to take that photo, you feel BB push up against you, and you feel her pull Silhouette into you as well. So it's the top of your head, and then just like BB and Silhouette's hair just coming in. I thought that was friends take photos together. So that was what that was.
I was mainly just to be a little stinker. I understand this is an actual like training exercise, but also I want to have fun here since I have to fly to get here. So
That's
we can
fair.
take a proper one later.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Is there anything in the environment that is Team Diamond Soul looking at anything?
Yeah, they're looking around. They're immediately, they're like scattered looking at books and like reconvening at the center. Siphon is fully just in line at the bakery.
Respect.
As you guys are all sort of trying to figure out what to do, the three of you are convened together. And I think Snapshot sort of makes her way over to you guys as well and is like looking around. And you see that she's been like gathering images of things and putting them down. But as you're looking, you hear this like repulsor sound, and you look up, and coming up over the balcony and floating down toward you is this like roughly, again, basketball sized metal orb with a screen for a face. And on it is projected this sort of emoji smiley face that moves as it speaks to you. And it hovers between you at like eye level, and it floats around and it looks at you guys and it swivels its little face. It goes, "Hello, welcome to the Moonrider Memorial Library.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Silhouette is immediately like, who are you? And he goes, I am Al, your automated librarian. Is there any information I could specifically help you find during your stay?
Do you know where she is? And I point at the Pantheon statue.
Ah, the challenge. Yes, we have been informed of your mission for the day. And I am the keeper of your next clue. Well, the next clue to the next clue, rather. You see, the next clue as to the location of Pantheon and Diamond Soul rests in the hands of Pantheon and Diamond Soul.
Oh.
Which one of us is the best at climbing?
Probably Acrobat. I mean,
Her head pops out
It's
from
in her
behind a
name?
bookshelf. Climbing?
I think we have to get up. The robot.
I think-
The robot said we have to get up to their hands because that's where the next clue is. Can you do that?
I see.
I can
Well,
try to help if you want, but I'm
yeah,
probably not as
I'm
good at it as
also
you.
pretty good, but it's like your
I
name is
mean,
Acrobat, so I assume
that
you're like
is true.
good at this type of thing.
I mean, I could just scramble up the side of the statue, but I feel like that might be a little uncouth. Could maybe someone give me a boost? And then I would grab onto something, because the legs they're a little bit smooth. There's not much to grab.
Mm,
Hairomone, do you want to do it together?
sure.
Like just like what are they called? Cheerleaders that they throw
Mhm.
each other up in the air.
Yeah. Just like a
like that.
1, 2, hippa.
Yeah.
So
Good God.
do you guys
Ma-
both want to roll an individual strength, or do you want to do one of you with full advantage?
What's your strength, BB?
I think it's 4. I don't have my page right in front of me.
Oh,
I think it's either 3 or 4.
It's
3. It's 3.
Yeah,
On
we-
mine,
Three,
it's
okay.
3.
We
that I
both have
for
the
you.
same, so we both have the same chance of like succeeding.
Should we just do it
might
together?
Yeah, we might as well just do each rolling.
Individually? Yeah. 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Hey, same.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, that's good. So the two of you together, you each take a foot and you 1, 2, woo, and you toss her up, and you see that she is so light on her feet. She flies up way farther than you think that you actually pushed her. And you see that she is so light on her feet, and as she jumps up, she almost curls in the air, and she grabs on with her hands onto Pantheon's belt. And in one swift movement with the momentum that you gave her, as she grabs, she swings her body up backwards and grabs with her feet up onto the arm, and then pulls herself all the way up, scrambles over to the hand and sits in it. She goes, and she holds something up that she's grabbed that's out of your sight because the hand is up above you, so you couldn't see something in it. She picks up something and she goes, it is only a half. Hold on.
Yeah, you need the one from Diamonds.
She dangles down with her tail, swings back over to the belt, and climbs back down. It is only 50% of a ball.
We have to get the other one.
We'll go over to the other statue and second verse, same as the first.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the Diamond Soul statue, you do the same thing. I'm just going to say that you succeed again because this is how you do it. It's cool. And you do it. This time, everybody else is gathered around. Siphon shows up after she's already grabbed the second one and climbed back down. And you have the two of them, one in each of her hands. And Siphon comes back like munching on some sort of Danish and is like, what did I miss? Oh, clue. Munch. Nice work.
So do we put the two halves together? Yeah,
I
like
can.
Asteria said.
Are we ready for? You see Al is still sort of hovering, like looking. The face has like emoji blushes and like there's like a waiting face of like.
Oh my God, he's so cute. They're so
I'm
cute.
imagining-
They're robots.
I'm imagining Al and Silhouette next to each other, both independently going and not knowing that the other is doing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just sort of
Okay.
do the thing. hand it off to Silhouette, I guess.
Second page.
Did it last? Oh, second page of notes time. Ooh.
Okay.
Second page.
So they click together and they spin, and the hologram appears, and the text says, clue number 2. What do singers and marksmen both need to practice?
Warm up.
That's pretty good. Singers and marksmen.
Yeah, specifically the wording is, what do singers and marksmen both need to practice?
I mean, I'm one half of the equation and BB, you're the other.
I'm looking at the map again. Singers and marksmen.
I mean,
They both
training.
need training, targets, by which I mean targeted notes and actual targets.
Do any of Team Diamond sing? Do you think?
I didn't really imagine any of them being, I guess, equilibrium, if I had to pick one.
Sil, do you sing? Silhouette.
I mean, I've studied a little bit. I've been hanging out with Echo and learning a little bit about like music production, which is pretty cool. You should see some of the stuff that she does. I mean, she won't like show you of her own volition. You have to like bug her about it, but you know, it's pretty interesting. She's got like a really good range of like stuff that she can do, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, usually I do all my singing with Ivy because he's pretty good. So, I mean, I'm okay. I was trained a little bit, but like not anywhere near him. I would guess training is the answer.
I'm gonna have one of Team Diamond chime in with something, and I'm gonna ask you guys, who do you want it to be?
We're done.
Who gives you a piece of this?
It's the wrong answer. We're
Asteria.
done.
No, actually, you see, there is a murmur of like, oh yeah, that's probably it.
Asteria, you choose.
Yeah.
Who does speak up?
Yeah, who's gonna pipe up here?
I think Siphon, because I got a flash image of Siphon doing traditional Japanese archery in my head.
Ooh,
hot.
So Siphon goes, I mean, the training city makes sense that that's a place that they would want us to go. I mean, just from a logistical standpoint, like, this is training, is it not? So I'm just trying to think of like, where would you go to practice hitting a target? Like, where do you practice that?
Shooting range.
Silhouette's eyes go wide when you say that.
Range!
Oh!
So is looking back at the directory, I don't think there's like a shooting range on there, but could we assume that that's the training city? And that's, I'll actually kind of say that in character. So
you look up and you see Al's face changes to that directory again, and then it zooms in on the training city and shows you individual parts of the training city, and says, is there a specific location that you are looking for?
Shooting range?
Ah, yes, the shooting range is located here. And he shows you that there is indeed a shooting range.
I guess we go there next. All right.
You notice you're looking around at Team Diamond as they're looking at you guys like impressed. And they're like, you get the impression that this is not a highly investigative based team. That's not really what they do. And it's starting to dawn on you that maybe that's part of this, is that that's something that they needed to work on too. This is not just an exercise for you.
Right.
This was designed as something both of you. Now that we're talking about things that both singers and marksmen need to practice, you're starting to realize this is something both Diamond and Pantheon teams need to practice. I think up until this point, you might have only been looking at it through the lens of like, what are we supposed to learn from this? And is it are we supposed to mirror their teamwork? But you see them learning something too from you. And there's a moment where before they would like run ahead of you and like work together and stuff. Now they're waiting for you guys to move first. and they move with you.
Don't like that.
I mean, they're not
Me
leaving you
neither.
out. They're not leaving you out.
Yeah.
They stand with
For
you
sure.
and they're like
Yeah.
gonna go all together.
Yeah.
It's not like they're following your lead or anything, but they're like,
Okay, thank
We're all
God.
working
Yeah.
together. Yeah. So we head over to the shooting range.
Yes.
I imagine.
okay. So you make your way over to the training city and you get there and you see that there is, at the entryway, there is a sensor area, very similar to where you enter to get into the Hero Campus. There is a place to swipe something, and there, are sensors to walk under. There's no other way to get in unless you try to like scale the walls.
I try to walk through the sensors.
Okay. You go to walk through the sensors and it seems like it flashes green.
Uh-huh.
You are supposed to be here. And as you do that, something pings on your little visitor bracelet. And you look and you see that there are like nano bits of technology on it that you hadn't noticed before.
What do they say?
It doesn't say anything. It just flashes green in response to going under the sensor.
Oh, okay.
And when you go up to the scanner, it looks like it's kind of a similar color that it's waiting for.
Then I put my hand on the scanner as well.
Mm-hmm. And it pings and approves your entry.
I look back at the group and kind of nod and shrug and go in.
I think you actually see your hero name listed as well, like cool. Approved to be here for the day. Almost as if like you're signing in for time at the range.
Mm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Walk into the range.
So each of you in turn does this. Snapshot, as she walks up, she goes, this is not the kind of shooting I am typically accustomed to.
That's why you got me here, though, right?
That's a fun parallel. No, Alchemist is like, boo.
Hey, it's the Alchemist.
It is.
That's out of character.
But it's also correct. And you guys step through and you make your way down through the training city that is, again, kind of similar, but almost bigger in scale in a certain way, because it looks like you see those same panels of like places where robots slot away, or like hidden panels for like guns to come out of the walls you recognize those creases. You also notice there's no one like here right now. Nobody is like working this area. It seems as though it's been cleared out. That's the first thing that really stands out. As we look around at all these amenities, all of us realize simultaneously how many corners were cut in the construction of Moonlight Academy. No, I'm kidding. Is there anything else that we see? You continue like kind of through the city and you follow the map and end up at this long building, almost bowling alley like, and it comes up and it looks a bit like a kind of a Star Wars bunker. It's silver with red and white stripes going down on all sides. There are like emblems of targets on the outside indicating that this is the range. And you see that the doors are open for you to enter at the moment.
Head on in.
Okay. So you head inside and you see like various different like places that you can go to. There are a couple of different ranges, but there's one in particular that stands out to you. It is an area with kind of like fake grass that looks really convincing on the field. It's about 100 feet deep. Like long, rather, I shouldn't say deep, from where you start, that you can step out onto that field. If there are any like creases in the ground or anything, you can't see them because it's all grass. So you're not sure what's going on there. But on the opposite end, you just kind of see a wall. There are places where like it's slotted away where you see like targets probably will come out of.
Mm-hmm. Can I make a tracking check to see if they physically stepped foot on this grassy field?
You can definitely try. The last thing that I want to make note of, though, is that about 3/4 of the way down, maybe about 75 feet from where you are, there is a single training dummy with a target painted on its chest and a smaller one on its face, with its hand outstretched. just out in the middle of the field.
What do we think that is? Feels too straightforward for just the goal for us to shoot it. Like, huh.
Equilibrium goes, well, off the top of my head, I am pretty sure it has the thing that we need.
Oh.
I only got a 1
That's
out
fair.
of
I mean,
3.
it's going like this. So I think I...
What were you rolling, Asteria?
Tracking. I wanted to see if they physically
Okay.
stepped foot on
For
to
sure.
the field to see if there was a particular pattern to follow in case it was a booby trapped.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I only got a 1 out of 3 though.
1 out of 3. If anything like that existed, it was promptly like smoothed over and corrected.
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 3. That's not a lot to go off of.
I can tell that though. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell.
You do, however, notice that there is like a single drink, like a fountain drink, that's just like sitting on a table nearby. Just by itself.
No stone left unturned. What's up with this can?
You open it up, it's like a half-finished space cola.
Space cola. Okay.
Name brand, non-denominational cola.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna throw it. See what happens
Throw it where?
on the field.
You're gonna throw it onto the field.
Yes.
Eat
Okay. You throw it out onto the field.
Yeet.
And as soon as it lands, it hits grass. The second it hits grass, you see on the opposite far wall, in like a fraction of a second, panels flip over and a series of gun barrels emerge. Maybe like 6 of them, all along like a shooting gallery on the opposite wall. And each one of them, boom, 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 they fire a blast of what looks like compressed air. And they all zero in directly at that cup. And it's a little styrofoam cup. So it like the cup gets just blasted apart and it goes flying back. And it flies all the way over with concussive force, like almost right at your feet.
I fucking knew it.
That was a good call. Very good
It
call.
was a very good call.
So there's stuff. Okay, is it sort of what I'm envisioning is a 100-foot football field essentially
Yeah,
with-
it's 100-foot like
with-
grass
with
lanes.
stuff on either side. It's not. There's not only grass for us to step on. There's stuff on either side. There's like a walkway or something on either side.
Yeah, I mean there are walls on the side of it separating it
Oh.
from other similar lanes.
But what I'm saying is,
There's also a booth with
Is
a
the-
door in
is the
front of it that
grass-
you can go through to get out onto the field.
is the grass wall to wall.
Yes.
So there's no sidewalk area to walk on.
No.
Okay. The alchemist.
Uh,
How much matter can you manipulate at one time?
Oh, well, I would say that it depends on the composition, right? Like I have an easier time with things that are like I can change the molecular structure of things into things that are similar, and the farther away, right? If I'm changing something of like something very solid into something very gaseous or liquid, that's going to be a little bit harder.
Could you, I don't know, make a little pathway above the grass 100 feet to this little dummy?
I could try. Well, let's see.
all nat ones.
4, 5,
Oh,
Out of-
fuck it up.
5.
Fuck it up, boy.
So he kind of rubs his hands together. He reaches out, not all the way to the grass, but near it. And he begins to like turn his fingers up and pull, and you can see the strain of it. He kind of begins to sweat, but he pulls, and you realize very quickly it's like concrete underneath. So it's like there's a layer of something hard and there's metal down there. And as he pulls up, he's like, there's layers of metal and things underneath that might, like other targets and maybe more dummies that come out from the ground. So, it's a little, the strain is a lot. Hold on. And with that full success, he is able to pull up a path, but it's not a solid path because a lot of it was metal underneath and like objects. So he wasn't trying to turn one thing into one thing. There were various substances underneath that grass, namely metal and concrete, which are both very hard to maneuver. And so you see just like almost like skipping stone paths of what concrete he could get his hands on around the metal.
Concrete.
I'm gonna take off my bolo tie. We literally just did this about 2 hours ago. Bolo, right?
Bolo, yeah.
Bolo tie, and throw it onto one of the raised platforms now and see if anything happens.
Mm-hmm. Onto the raised platform. So you throw something on there, and it skitters along on the thing, and the guns still come out, but they don't come out as quickly. It looks like it took a little bit longer for the vibrations to get through the ground. They did get there, but now there's a delay. Where before it was instant, now it's like a couple seconds. And the guns come out and they fire. A couple of them miss, like half of them miss, but half of them still hit.
Can I try to fire a concussive blast at the ground on one of the things that's not raised?
Sure.
Yeah. So I fire at the ground just to see what happens when like a pressure gets applied to the ground itself.
Yeah. I mean, you shoot at the ground itself, and it's a big area. So now there's a wider area, and you vibrate the ground so hard there that they seem to not know where to shoot, and they spray fire like all around the room, basically, not any one specific place, because the vibration of that is so big.
Can I try to shoot the guns themselves as they come out?
Yeah, it's a very small window, so it'll be difficult, but you can try.
Yeah, I'll try it, and you'll see BB for the first time in however long it's been since our big fight with the silencer use the actual gun, like the laser, the kill boy.
So how many dice are you rolling for that attack?
I believe I roll my power die and then 3 d6s.
3 d6s. Okay, so this is going to be a difficulty of 2. So you have to roll 2 successes. It came down from, it would have been 3, but it's come down.
I rolled a 12 on my power die,
which is critical.
And then 2 successes out of 3.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You rolled a 12, which means it's critical. So you would roll 2d6. 2d6 damage plus your, you use dexterity for this, right? So 2d6 plus your dexterity.
Which is 3, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. Out of 6 of these things, you destroy completely 2 of them before the other 4 slot away.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. Wait, actually, before I say what I'm thinking, equilibrium. Can I get a description of your power?
Oh,
in your words.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. So basically, my body reacts to pressures and elements that are applied to it. If something hits me, my body will absorb it, learn about it, and react accordingly. So, for example, if somebody shot me with like fire, I might get a cold epidermis situation happening to sort of counter that. But the downside is, I have to get hit first. Usually I want to get hit and it kind of hurts, but depending on how quickly I can absorb stuff, then it'll be better later and I won't get hurt. Does that make sense?
Yes, this is what I'm thinking. And I huddle everyone together. BB with your concussive power and Silhouette with your fun little whip go on either side and just hit the ground over and over and over again to confuse these guns. Then either Acrobat or Equilibrium goes and gets the thing skips on the thing and gets to the dummy and grabs it. So while you guys one of you is hopping to get the stuff, the guns don't know where to shoot. I was thinking Equilibrium because if you get shot, it sounds like you won't get hurt or like get pushed as much.
Yeah.
And Acrobat, because you're seemingly so dexterous, you might be able to just dodge out of the way and not fall off the skipping stones. But does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways we could play that. I mean, BB could just shoot me. And then
I don't want to shoot you.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be
yeah.
totally fine. I mean, just shoot me with your concussive stuff, and then my body will know what to do with concussive force, right? It looks like you're dealing just as much as that stuff does, if not more. So just like fully hit me. Don't even worry about it. I'll be totally fine. And then I can run out there. It's kind of a far run, so I might need somebody to try and like do something else. Because if I keep getting shot.
Well, that's why we have BB and I guess the rest of us could do it too, but like smacking the ground to confuse them because they seem to not know where to go.
Once he says like, "Oh no, I'll be fine. I need concussive force." BB's like, "Oh," and then just immediately raises her gun at him.
All right, hold on. You guys need to stand back because my body's gonna. It's gonna equal and opposite kind of a force is gonna happen. All right, so everybody's gonna go stand over there. All right.
I stay as close to him as I need to, and then hit him with it. Yeah. Bang.
So you like shoot right at her, and she just like it splashes across her, and you see because she's ready for it. I'm not going to make her roll for it. She's pushed on her heels back only a couple feet, and you see her skin seems to harden somewhat. And that force kind of scatters across her, and you see a bit of a wave, and you feel it kind of blow your hair back as it's kind of deflected off of her. She goes, "Okay, I gotta run for it now. I don't want this to wear off. I'm gonna go." And then she takes off down that path, and the guns come up, and they try to take shots at her.
Before she
goes.
And I are already ready. Yeah.
Okay.
As the force also rushes back and like blows over BB, BB's like, "That's hot." To herself.
So there are 4 guns left. Each of you are trying to make all of this noise. Some of them are going to shoot in the direction of the noise. Some of them are going to shoot. I think by this point, only one of them ends up trying to shoot at her. It's very confused. So the one that shoots at her, there's enough time that it works out. And as it's reloading, she's able to get back. And she tosses the clue over to Acrobat while she's taking fire. Acrobat gets it and books it faster, like down the path, and comes back with the clue.
Yay.
Nice.
Equilibrium comes back and that was cool.
Nice.
I like you guys a lot. Just putting that out there.
I also like you, but I will not speak for my friends because that's not something that you do.
That would be accurate. Yes, you are right to say that.
We're all on the same page then.
Yes.
Nice.
But Equilibrium is a person who tends to like everyone. Low standards. However,
big diss.
You see that he is fully
Max Keeble's big diss. Like
he is eating shit in this moment. And he's like, "But you are well liked."
God.
Silhouette is like, clue.
Yeah.
Let's look at the clue.
Silhouette, the clue guy.
She gets it and she opens it. And it simply says, "Right behind you."
Ah, fuck.
Bazinga!
We
And you
forgot
turn
to watch our
around.
6.
And you hear a woof as Pantheon is now sitting in the booth where that drink was, with Diamond Soul standing, bracing on the table as though she was just light speeded to a place. And she's like, 1 second. Ha. It's been a minute since I've had that happen. And I forgot how much it sucks. Good job, guys. That was good. That was really good. Pantheon slurps the dregs really loudly. Goes, that was really good. I mean, the bracelets, we were able to like hear you guys. And there are cameras all over this place for security. So we are aware that your teamwork was awesome. And most importantly, she turns over to Diamond Soul and Diamond goes, well, I don't know if most importantly, but I mean, you guys, both of our teams, we're not, we ain't Tonatress, all right? We're not here to be completely investigative, but it's an important skill that we all need to have. And both of you guys needed a bit of a lesson in it. And we thought, you could rub off on each other pretty well here. So I'm happy to report that the experiment seems to have been successful. I mean, I hope you guys had fun too. We wanted it to be kind of light and informative.
It was fun. I think we could all say that.
Silhouette goes, miles better than last time.
I agree
Really?
with Silhouette.
Yeah.
There's a look on Pantheon's face where that distance is still there, but she is in this moment. She is here. And she is proud. And she smiles very genuinely, and she stands up and she goes, I think this is the beginning of a wonderful half of a semester.
So what do we do now?
Now I think we eat something.
I promised Frank that I would come back and buy something from him, so I should do that.
Diamond goes, oh, you met Frank? Frank rules.
Yeah, I learned some stuff about you two. I got extra bonus points because I learned shit about my mentors.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's terrible at air hockey, but you should be nice to him about it. All right, come on, gang. Teamwork exercise over. Time to see how well we all work together to destroy a plate of nachos. Pantheon goes, I missed her.
Yeah, she's kind of the best, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a moment where her team follows her and you guys are left alone for a second. Snapshot looks back at you guys. And Pantheon goes, seriously, I feel like I have a lot to make up for. I don't want it to be all about that, but you guys deserve to have something real, to have what you came here for. And this place is somewhere I've been kind of avoiding recently. I feel a little weird being back, full disclosure, but I am back in every way that I can be. And this place is a part of that. And someday I want you to be a part of that. In a lot of ways, you already are. So that's enough of that. She will eat all the nachos. She will do that. I'm lying. She won't. She's exceptionally generous.
Let's go.
And as you guys follow Pantheon, mingling together, not only with yourselves, but with Team Diamond Soul, new friends.
I fully pull Snapshot aside and ask her out.
Ah!
Would you want to maybe sometime, I don't know, get lunch with me?
Aren't we doing that right now?
No.
Oh, you mean, oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, I wasn't expecting a yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. What is?
Did you not actually want me to say yes? Oh
my god.
Should I not have?
No, I mean, I'm no, never mind.
I'm usually the one who's weird and kind of nervous and that would be fun.
My luck with the femmes, the AFABs, the female presenting, it's not that great. So I wasn't expecting a good. Nope. But I'm glad you did, because that is what I wanted. Yes. Okay, we'll talk about this later.
I think I'm learning to expect only good things from you guys.
Wow, brutal.
I mean, you really shouldn't, but okay. Oh, okay.
And as you all walk off together, we fade out on that scene. And yet, the story is not over. A story that is continuing, yet just beginning.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Later that afternoon, you all make your way. The shuttle sort of flies you back to the administrative building. And you're all trying to make your way sort of out back to the main wall. You say your goodbyes. As you're heading out to go through the wall and through the sensor entryway / exit way, make your way back to your house to sort of rest for the rest of the evening. And as you're approaching, you're maybe a good, maybe only like 20 feet off from that entryway. You hear a bustling on the other side of the wall. Something somewhat panicked. You can see through the entryway a little glimpse of people running by. What? And as you're looking, you hear this massive sound, this whooshing, burning, crackling sound.
Like fire?
And
Hello?
Before your eyes, at first you see bright orange flame, but then no, not just flame. It has shape, it has form and substance.
A man. A guy.
Bursting through the entryway, singeing the sensors on all sides, is a massive serpentine dragon.
Oh my god.
Made entirely of burning, roiling flame.
Yo.
And as it singes and ignites, it squeezes itself through this entryway into the hero campus and then dissipates, not even leaving behind a trail of smoke, just embers on the wind that then disappear. And then bursting through at a run is a figure, the figure of a man.
Oh shit.
You see billowing out behind him as he runs. It looks like he is making a beeline past you, over back toward the administrative building. You see a figure wearing all black with a black duster over top that has that has bronze trim that makes geometric patterns down where the buttons are, like all the way to the bottom. That they essentially create this image of almost like an ancient Grecian vase. Whoa. And he has like combat boots on, or actually not even combat boots, like simple, just like trainers, black shoes.
Did he come out of our house?
No, he lit up the entryway. The dragon burned and singed through the entryway
of the hero campus.
Through the wall into the hero campus.
Okay, got it.
As this figure continues running, you see that he's got a black baseball cap on with a hood up over it, masking his face as he runs, booking it at full tilt, trying to get past you.
Can I try to concussive blast him?
You absolutely can. And I'm just going to say, for the sake of the sake, that it does connect. And he sort of flies back. He wasn't even trying to register. He was like running. If you don't try to get in front of him, you just shoot. You blast. And he falls backward, but he braces himself. He catches himself. He doesn't fall all the way. Almost in a 3-point, dragging himself along the ground. And he stands back up and he dusts himself off. And you see that you've knocked his hood back. And beneath the hood, you see a somewhat familiar face. Tan skin, sandy blonde hair, bright orange sunrise colored eyes underneath this black baseball cap, where it looks as though something has been burned away where a logo might be on the cap. You just see the stitching that is singed on the edges underneath. The face of someone that you knew from a distant past, but more recently a face that you've seen on every news channel since you released his final statement, at least final as far as you knew. And it's at this moment that I would like to introduce you all to our final player for this season.
Woo!
Portraying Jeremy Johnson, the one, the only. It's Ben.
It's Bam.
Yeah!
My flesh and blood.
Hey,
Welcome back to
king.
the show. Welcome to the first city officially. Finally, we have you in. So let me ask you, Jeremy Johnson, having made your way here, being interrupted by this person who is vaguely familiar to you, and then two other people.
We're also here.
You just booked it past. There are a bunch of students who are clamoring around. There are other sensors and alarms going off. There is a split moment here, almost in bullet time. You know that every teacher in this place, including Fortress, is about to make their way here. We can almost see the blurring red and yellow outline of Dr. Quickstep rushing to intervene in this moment, as well as Pantheon. But in this moment, right here and now, the three of you are standing face to face with someone you absolutely did not expect to see right now.
Jeremy?
you?
Jeremy Johnson?
He'll just kind of like offer a smirk and cock one hip to the side and say, I don't suppose it's too late to ask for asylum, is it?
And that is where we will pick up next time.
Woo!
As we continue our journey with Ben
Surprise!
as Jeremy,
Hey!
joining us for the rest of this season and beyond, if he so pleases. I am so excited to have you, Ben. It is awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you for being here for our little tag scene.
Yeah, happy to be here. I'm excited.
Woo!
Man, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had as much fun watching it as we did being back in the saddle of this game. It only gets better from here.
Hey.
So, until next time, be super.
Sure.
Be super.
Be super.
Bye.
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 Wah!